Hello, hello, and welcome, Vikings. Everyone who's coming in, good to see you. Should be getting a redirect any moment now from Nik, and Nik will be arriving. And look who else is here. I have my lovely, lovely co-host.
Yes. How are you?
To my right.
Yes.
To my right. Hello, Dali.
Hello.
Welcome. How's your day been?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good. It's lasted about half an hour
Good.
so far. My morning, yes. So any moment now we'll have Mr. Starow joining us, maybe with Jingles, because Jingles was there last time I saw Jingles. He was on doing a Mo cat hat, so that was nice. I haven't had a cat come. Actually, I will get you. Yes, if you could, Dali, if you could get the video, that would be great.
Okay.
We are at 2 hours and 16 and a half seconds in.
2 hours.
Sorry.
And what? Sorry. 2 hours and what?
16 and a half.
Okay.
Minutes. Sorry. In.
Sounds good.
Yes. So we just got past the second lovely DNA expert, and she was fantastic. Hello, Paige. How are you? And I thought it was quite appropriate that Mr. Starow got to have the tool marking expert. But actually, she wasn't too bad.
No, I mean,
she wasn't too bad. Yeah. She was pretty good, as tool marking experts go. He didn't, and he didn't have much to yell at about that. So
that is
good.
True.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit of it's one of those cases where it's fairly short. We'll be there in a minute. That's fine. The big boys first. The big boys room first. I would hope it's a big boys room, Nik, because honestly, if there's a small boys room, you're not going
to. Uncle, when he goes to the kids' school and has to use the bathroom. Have you seen that movie? Yeah.
No. Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
All right.
He's this huge guy, and he goes to the school, his elementary school for his nephew, and he has to use the urinal, except it's a foot off the ground, or 2 feet off the ground. So he's trying to.
Okay. Hello, everybody who's coming in.
Damn it.
Good to see you. If you don't know Dali, this is Salvador Dali. He has his own channel called Dali Talks. If you are not subscribed to Dali Talks, I'm sure you will be by the end of this session, because you'll just fall in love with Mr. Dali over here. Also, if you don't fall in love with him, you'll fall in love with his 2 Aussie cats. They are behind him.
Yes.
Now, Dali's just getting the video set up there.
Yeah.
But and we'll get it going in a second once everyone starts to hurry on in. But the story is that Salvador Dali, the painter, he had an ocelot.
Yes.
And Aussie cats are very similar to ocelots in that they have beautiful, beautiful markings.
Yes, they were named after ocelots.
They're named after ocelots. Here we go.
And Salvador Dali's ocelot was named Babu. So.
And yes, Salvador Dali's ocelot was named Babu.
Yep.
And so Dali, my friend here, he has 2 Aussie cats named Babu. Oh, there we go. Babu and Babu Jr.
Yes.
Very creative.
I thought so.
Hopefully we'll get to have a bit of a look at them today. But their markings are just beautiful, like little leopards.
Yes.
Okay. So we might just, whilst we're waiting for people to come in, we might just watch a little bit of lead up.
Yeah.
Yep. So just the end of her testimony, and then we'll press pause once Nik comes in. Nik will be here in just a moment.
Mitochondrial DNA sequence was obtained from item 23-0389.188. Nestor Hernandez is excluded
down,
as the contributor of the mitochondrial DNA from 23-0389.1A8.
Lovely, thank you.
Selena Villatoro or any matrilineal relative of Selena Villatoro cannot be excluded as the contributor of the mitochondrial DNA from item 23-0389.1A8. Utilizing the mitochondrial DNA population database currently available from the FBI lab.
We watched this already, so I don't mind talking over it a little bit. She has a lovely
has
accent.
been observed as follows.
Yes. Like
1 in 2,449 individuals of African descent, 0 in 2,609 individuals of Caucasian descent, 2 in 2,576 individuals of Hispanic descent, 0 in 1,036 individuals of Native American descent, and 0 in 1,959 individuals of Asian descent. Based on the population databases for 3 population groups, African American, Caucasian, and Hispanic, and using a 95% confidence interval, the frequency of the observed mitochondrial DNA haplotype is not expected to exceed 0.24%.
And lastly, item 23-0389.1A9.
Item 23-0389.1A9 yielded no discernible amplified mitochondrial DNA fragments and therefore was not sequenced.
There we are. So what time are we up to there?
2:15.
2:15. Okay.
To summarize that, 9 of those samples.
That's pretty good. She's got like 1 minute to go. And I think, yeah, Nik has just done the redirect.
Your Honor, and
Yeah.
just for the record,
Cool. We may later on, everybody, be joined by Wilhelm Media again. Hopefully. He's getting a little bit of a cold.
Oh.
23-0389.1A, where Harris from the slide. Thank you. No further questions, Pastor. Defense?
No questions, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and the defense, hold on one second. The defense shall stand.
Let's turn it up a little bit and get just the introduction to this witness.
Thank you.
Whilst we wait for Nik to come in.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have
Babu, for Christ's sake.
Do you want to show everyone Babu?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
He hasn't had his wet food yet because I haven't eaten.
Hello. Okay, let's have a look. Let's say hello.
Good afternoon.
Would you mind pressing pause there,
Yeah,
Dali,
trying.
for us?
Yes,
That's
my
okay.
name is Travis Daniel.
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, it took a bit longer than a minute, but I'm here.
That's okay.
Now, who is that on the stand impersonating somebody out of a gangster movie?
We haven't really gotten to him yet. We were just about to start talking to him, start watching him talk, and then you just popped in, and we're also getting a lovely look at Babu, which is Dali's Aussie cat, one of the 2 Aussie cats. Yes, exactly. So I was just telling chat who don't know Dali that he has the 2 Aussie cats who are named after Salvador Dali's Ocelot.
Yes.
Because anyone who is a very good streamer has to have a sidekick cat.
You have somebody to
If you
jump in.
don't have a sidekick cat, you go down the list.
Yes.
Yeah, but Dali's cats doesn't attack him all the time.
No.
Oh, really? Haven't you seen it?
Well, no, he jumps up and like just wants attention.
Yeah.
Occasional nip, but that's it.
Thank you, Nik, for being here. Thank you for covering the morning and for passing this over to us and for just having us as part of this. Much appreciated. And welcome everybody coming in. We can still hear that going, I think.
Start it.
Okay, so do you want
SEN.
do you want to get it going again? We might just chuck it on.
No, okay, I'll start.
And what do you do for that?
I'm currently a medical examiner. I work
There we
for
go.
Dallas County
Really?
Medical Examiner's Office, which is part of
Medical
Southwestern
examiner.
Institute.
I would not have guessed him as a medical examiner. I would not have guessed him as a medical examiner.
Maybe somebody who hitman, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like an extra in Breaking Bad. I mean,
Yeah.
but hey, I'm sure people will listen to him when he says, "I have the results."
Yeah,
Forensic
true.
Sciences.
How long have you done that?
About almost a year and a half, I think.
What did you do before that?
I was a medical examiner in Knoxville, Tennessee for 1 year. Prior to that, I was a medical examiner in Colorado Springs, Colorado for nearly 3 years.
Did you do a little bit about your
Certainly, I graduated from medical school, earned my medical degree in 2012 at the St. George's University in Grenada, West Indies. Following that, I completed a 3-year anatomic pathology residency at UT Southwestern here in Dallas. Completed a 2-year neuropathology fellowship again here in Dallas at UT Southwestern, and a 1-year fellowship in forensic pathology again here in Dallas.
God damn
Was
it.
that the cat?
No, that was me trying to fix my
Forensic
camera.
pathology is kind of a subset within the field of pathology that deals mainly with autopsy pathology, particularly cases that tend to have a medical legal angle to them.
And as a medical examiner, do you do autopsy?
That's the main thing that I do, yes.
And do you perform that for Dallas County only?
Dallas County, as well as we contract with, I don't know how many, 20 some odd other counties throughout Texas.
And in whose reports do you perform those autopsies?
They're under the jurisdiction of our office, typically if the death occurs within Dallas County.
Tell the jury, what is an autopsy?
So an autopsy, you guys probably have some kind of idea what it is. It's, a post-mortem examination of the body. You can somewhat break it down into 2 separate things. There's an external portion, which is pretty self-explanatory, the external part of the body where we note things such as eye color, hair color, the condition of the body, the teeth, any kind of scars, marks on the body, anything like that, any kind of injuries that we can see externally on the body. So that's the external portion of the examination, followed by the internal examination where we open the body, remove each one of the organs, weigh those organs, dissect those organs, and note any kinds of natural disease processes or injuries to any of those organs as well.
How many autopsies do you think you perform?
Forensic autopsies somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000.
Have you testified as an expert in this area?
Yes, ma'am.
Few or many?
That's relative, but I would say many.
Okay. Question with this? Dr. Davidson, on October 23rd, I'm going to show you what's been marked as case exhibit 149 and 150. Did you conduct an autopsy on this person?
Yes, I did.
And is this the report that you generated according to that autopsy?
Yes, it is.
All right. And this picture and the report, is this an accurate copy of your actual report?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And did you take this photograph?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, State Office State Exhibit 149 and 150 for all purposes.
Oh, good.
Case Exhibit 149 and 150 are admitted for all purposes. Also, Dr. Danielson, while I'm up here, I'll show you what's been marked as State Exhibits 151 through 162. Can you take a look at these and tell me what they are?
These are photographs taken by myself during the autopsy.
Do they fairly really depict the condition of the body at the time of the autopsy?
Yes, they do. One is a photograph of an x-ray that was done during the autopsy, and one is a diagram that I completed following the autopsy, but the remainder are photographs from the autopsy itself.
Did there appear to be any deletions or changes or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, I would say exhibit 151 and 162 all purposes.
Yes, baby. I see.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, this exhibits 151 through 162 are admitted for all purposes. Thank you.
Don't.
I believe this is the report I brought with me. You're welcome to it.
I have an extra copy. Thank you. All right. Just for identification purposes, Your Honor, may permission to publish state exhibits 149 through 152. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. On state exhibit 150, is this the identification? Oh. State exhibit 150, are we looking at the identification photo of our complainant, Jacqueline Pokuaa?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And can you describe the general condition of her body when you began your autopsy?
So typically, in a case such as this, we receive the body fully clothed with any personal effects they have on them, any kind of medical interventions that have been done to them. This photograph itself is taken following the removal of all those items and cleaning.
Now, what was the result of your external examination?
I found there to be a gunshot wound to the back of her head.
Where exactly in the back of the head?
So the middle portion of the lower back of the head near the neck.
And at the injury site, did there appear to be any soot or step?
No, so those are things that we look for in forensic pathology with firearm wounds or gunshot wounds to determine if there's any contact wound would leave stippling, a close range could leave stippling and soot around the entrance wound, or you could just have stippling indicating a medium range of fire. None of those features were present around this defect.
And what were the results of your internal examination?
So I follow this gunshot wound that she has to the back of her head. She has hemorrhaging under the scalp in that area, so bleeding, it's a fancy word for bleeding. The bullet itself somewhat fractures, something I've not really ever seen before in my career. This bullet splits in nearly 2 equal pieces. One piece goes into the musculature of her her upper back or her neck, while one travels through the skull and into her brain.
All right, now let's go through the photos. State exhibit 151, could you explain to Joe what was it?
Yeah, so in a case like this, we typically take what we call as-is photos. So we open the bag, and this is exactly how the body is received as is. So this is the top half as we received as is. And again, so we try to capture the as is in a top photo and a lower photo. And so this would be the lower photo of the as is photograph. This is a photograph of the back of her neck. I think there's hopefully a closer up view. We've removed the hair along that area to help expose this defect, this injury. Yes, so the hair has been shaved and removed, and you can, I don't have a pointer, but it's essentially in the very middle of this photograph. You can see a defect to the back of her head.
Nick, did you need to get going?
Yeah, in a bit.
Okay. I didn't want you worry. Okay, just let us know.
It's 9 p.m. here. My alarm bell goes off.
Certainly.
4:30 a.m. So,
Ooh.
yeah, I still need to change my pillowcase.
Good idea.
My asshole cat decided to move over to my pillow to clean his rear end.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's very hygienic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so fun having cats, isn't it?
Always, yes.
Look,
Oh.
it could be worse. It could be worse. At least cats are usually pretty clean. At least they go outside to do their business. As long as they're outside cats, you know.
Except that one, a few weeks ago, decided to cough up something in my bed.
Yeah.
Do you know? Can you guess when I found out?
When?
Before or
When
after I
you
went
got
to
in?
bed? When I got in.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Poor kitty wasn't feeling well.
Yeah, but can he do that in the barn instead?
Yeah, it's just like, come on. It was like one more step and you wouldn't have been in the bed.
Yeah.
Not that typical.
Yeah, but thank you for taking over. And yeah, I'll see you again Friday.
Okay.
Where
we do day 3.
Sounds good.
Yay! Yep.
Day 3 is going to wrap everything up. Such a quick trial. Trial. Snappy.
Yeah. So we will dual stream. I hope on
dueling.
How? Yeah, dueling. How early can you get out of bed?
Well, you know what's going to happen? I think Friday, Thursday. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to actually be out DJing, and I don't think I'm actually going to be going to bed. So,
okay. So
yeah.
if I take the normal time, which is noon Eastern time, 6 p.m. my time, which is I have no idea your time.
I think it's about 3 a.m. my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we'll set it up and everything, and we'll see each other.
See each other then
on Friday. All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Boo.
Thank you. Certainly. So this is an entrance defect or wound, gunshot wound right here. So we're looking, this is the first thing we have to do when we're examining the head is we have to reflect or remove the scalp from the skull itself. And so what you're doing, you're seeing is you're looking straight down on the top of her head, the back of the head being the lower portion of the photo here, and the front of her head being the top portion of the photo. And so what you see here, this dark red area, the scalp should mainly, under the scalp should look like this kind of pink yellow. And this is all bleeding or hemorrhage under the scalp itself, indicating a recent injury to the head.
So that is all abnormal.
Absolutely.
Exhibit 156, what are we looking at?
So once we've done that, we remove the top of the skull and expose the brain. So this is the same angle. Essentially, you're looking from the top down. And you see that area we were just talking about with the hemorrhage here. You're also seeing all this, there's dense areas of blood or bleeding hemorrhage here around the brain, as well as on parts of the 2 cerebral hemispheres. That's all abnormal. That's an indication of trauma to the brain. So this is before the autopsy itself, we actually do a full body scan radiograph of the body. And the reason for that, we essentially always do it if we're suspicious of a gunshot wound or we know there's a gunshot wound. So that's what we're looking at here.
And are you able to see where the gunshot, where the projectile is within her body?
Yes. Okay. So I think I kind of jumped the gun a little bit when I said that the bullet splits. So the bullet split essentially into 2 pieces. And what you can see from within the skull, there's a bright white item there at the top of the skull, that is one of those pieces. That's the piece of the bullet that was actually in the brain itself. There's another piece that appears like it's in the face, and I'll point to it here. And so essentially, when this bullet split in two, that piece went down
Dali?
in the upper part of the neck or the upper back.
Could you pause
area.
it for a
And
second, please?
It appears
Sure.
as if it's
I did not realize this, but in one more witness's time, the state's going to close and the defendant's going to testify.
Whoops.
What do you mean, whoops?
Or not whoops, but I mean, Nick's not here.
Yeah, well, we could tell him.
Yeah.
But yeah, the defendant testifies this afternoon. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone tell your friends.
Yeah.
Because it's about, what? Not long away. It really is not long away. I'm just looking forward. In fact,
Yeah,
you can, yeah, there you go. There he is. Yep.
40.
That's the defendant.
5 minutes, 40 minutes.
Even that, is it that long?
I don't know. Approximately.
Yeah, okay. Right,
So-
okay. Yeah, I might just message Nick and let him know. I don't know if he want to come back because he's as he said, he's got a 4:30 a.m. wake up. But yeah,
yeah,
I'll let him
we're
know
seeing is
Okay.
and I'll tweet about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow, okay. I didn't realize
is an
it
image
was.
that
I
goes
thought it
all
was
the way
going to be
through.
on
So
the
it
day
can be
3.
here or it can be here, but it's within the body itself. So that's the piece of the projectile.
Yes, he's
that I
going to
recovered from the back
testify.
of the neck.
Testify.
So this is what we call a court diagram. We prepare these typically for gunshot wounds, homicides, and I designate, there's a key at the top of the page and it says a filled in circle is an entrance gunshot wound, or parentheses GSW for short, and a circle with a plus sign in it is the location where I recovered a projectile or projectiles. And so you can see there's a solid circle on the back of the head indicated here, as well as 2 circles with the plus marks, and one is in the musculature. Well, it's just indicating it in the neck or the back, and one within the head indicated here.
So the bullet entered the body but never came out of the person.
That's correct.
And can you tell the direction of travel?
So typically I describe the direction in 3 dimensions, how it passes through the body. This one is more difficult because this bullet essentially splits into 2 pieces, but the general direction is from the back to the front.
Exhibit 159 is one of the projectiles that you recovered.
Yes, so this is the projectile from the upper back / neck that I've indicated on that envelope, yes.
Exhibit 160.
And I typically try to do this if the sides look different. And so I flipped that larger piece over to show you that it's really flattened. And so this is clearly a projectile that's broken during its path.
Exhibit 161.
And so this is the other, essentially half of the bullet that was recovered from the brain. And I've indicated that as the R, or right frontal lobe. So from the brain itself.
Exhibit 162. That was the other side of that.
Exactly. You know, I flipped it over to show the other side. It's the same projectile fragment from the brain.
May I approach the witness? I'm showing you what's already been admitted at exhibits 177 and 178. Do these contain those exact projectiles that we just discussed in exhibit 161 and 162?
Yes, I do.
And these are the ones that you recovered yourself?
As long as they have not been opened, yes.
They don't know. Dr. Dennison, this type of injury would death have been immediate?
You know, there's nothing from a forensic pathology anatomic standpoint that I can say that it's an instantaneous death. There's very few things that will cause an instantaneous death. And this doesn't have any of those features, so it would not be instantaneous.
Would someone be able to survive this?
No, I don't believe so.
Now, as part of your examination, do you do toxicology?
Yes, we collect specimens, blood, urine if it's available, and vitreous fluid, which is the fluid within the eye. We collect those specimens during the autopsy, and we send those to our toxicology lab. You know, it can have implications beyond the scope of this conversation. Individuals who don't have injuries such as this can die as a result of drugs.
No.
No? Okay.
This is that copy report toxicology. What was the result of the toxicology?
Her toxicology analysis was essentially negative. No substances whatsoever were detected by our toxicology lab.
Now, based upon your, based upon this autopsy, let's just go through your findings first, and then we will go to the. So the entrance here, that is according to the report.
Correct. So the last page of our report, we call it findings, and we just summarize the main findings.
All right. Will you summarize those?
Yeah. So again, the entrance is on the back of the head. The path of the bullet, it perforates the skin. The subcutaneous tissue, so that's a fancy word for just the tissue under the skin. Part of the bullet penetrates the muscle of the mid-posterior neck. Portion of the bullet perforates the occipital bone, so that's the bone at the back of the skull. The cerebellum, which is a smaller part of the brain at the back, and penetrates the cerebrum, or the brain hemisphere itself. And the next letter is recovery, and I summarize that 2 markedly deformed, essentially equal projectile fragments and their locations that they were recovered from. Associated injuries, meaning injuries that are associated with this gunshot wound itself. Hemorrhaging under the scalp, which we saw. Subdural hemorrhage over the cerebral convexity. So that was the hemorrhage I was talking about when we were looking at the brain itself, as well as subarachnoid hemorrhages. Again, hemorrhages on top of the brain. And the general direction of travel of the bullet. Again, this one's difficult because it essentially splits into 2 pieces that go almost opposite directions. But the general direction of this bullet is from the back to the front. And the range, again, as I stated earlier, we don't have any soot, we don't have any stippling, we don't have any of those findings to make a determination as to the range, meaning how far away the gun was from the skin when it was fired. Yes, her cause of death is gunshot wound of the head and neck. I can't say the range, but yes, it is consistent with someone who's shot in the back of the head.
And you also were able to make an opinion as to the manner.
Yes, the manner of death is homicide. That's the death of a person caused by the actions of another person.
Dr. Danielson, on the, just want to touch briefly on something you touched on. The range of fire from this. Can you tell us what you look for in time to determine the range of fire?
Right. So I think glazed over it a little bit. The things that we look for are soot deposition. So that's stuff that comes out of the end of the bullet. The end of the gun. We look for stippling. So that's kind of unburnt pieces of gunpowder that can hit the skin and cause an abrasion or a scrape type injury. Those things aren't present here. We also look and see if there's evidence of a muzzle stamp. So that's typically seen if the gun is in contact with the skin. There can be an injury around it that is in the shape of the muzzle of the gun. So none of those things are here. And so I can't say that this is a contact gunshot wound. I can't say that it's a close range gunshot wound. I can't say that it's a medium gunshot range. And so therefore, indeterminate is the de facto range in this case.
Okay, and when you're talking about, you split it up into near, medium, or contact. The contact wound obviously is not a contact.
Right. So I typically separate it into contact, touching the skin, close range, and medium range.
And when you're talking about close range, what is in your definition to constitute a close range injury?
Close range, to me, would have to show soot and stippling on the skin around the defect. So close to me is not contact. It's not as close as contact, but it's also not as far away as medium range, which only has stippling. And so close falls in between those two. And those are the findings I would look for in a close range.
And can you quantify those in terms of inches?
So we can speak in general terms about that. Typically, I have to give a disclaimer that those are general terms. The only way to actually determine the ranges in inches is to test fire that weapon. But for what you're asking, so a close range is typically 6 to 12 inches, and a medium range is typically 1 to 3 feet. And those are, again, very, very general terms. So highly dependent on the firearm you're using, can even depend on the type of ammunition you're using. If you're going to quantify it, you should use the exact same firearm, the exact same ammunition, and the exact same ammunition from the same lot number if you really want to narrow that down.
And that's something that can be ascertained by using, you have the actual weapon and you have the actual ammunition that is being used in that weapon. You can ascertain by test firing that weapon, what kind of distribution it will lead or facility. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Not me personally.
No, I'm not saying you, sir. I think that would be for a firearms examiner.
Exactly. Yes, for a firearms examiner, that is something that can be done. Yes.
That's all I have, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, Ms. Louise. Oh, yeah, I have one more. Doctor, during your exam, did you find any evidence of disease or anything previous that would have prevented this course of
No, nothing significant in terms of natural disease. No, she appeared to be a relatively healthy young woman.
Thank you. No further questions.
That's where we're going.
All right, Ms. Louise. No, Jason. All right, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
We swear that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth that helps you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Louise.
Thank you, Robert. Good afternoon, Dr. Hastings.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for your patience.
Very welcome.
Can you please state your name for the record and tell me.
It is Stephen Hastings. That's Stephen with a PH, S-T-E-P-H-E-N. And then the last name is Hastings, H-A-S-T-I-N-G-S.
Dr. Hastings, how are you currently employed?
I am a medical examiner for Dallas County.
And how long have you?
All right, this is the last
I did my
defendant,
fellowship in 2014 to 2015.
testimony.
Fellowship is a one-year training
witness
program, and I've
before
been
the
a full-time
defendant
medical examiner
testifies, guys. Tell your friends.
since 2015.
Could you please talk to the jury about your education, training, and experience?
Yes. So after high school, I did undergraduate studies at Indiana University. I earned a Bachelor of Science in Biology. After that, I completed medical school at Indiana University and earned an MD degree. After that, I did 4 years in the study of anatomic and clinical pathology at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. Anatomic and clinical pathology is the study of disease and how it affects the human body. And then after that, I did a 1-year fellowship in Dallas in forensic pathology that I previously mentioned.
Dr. Hastings, let me take you to the date of October the 23rd, 2022, at approximately 7:15 a.m. Did you have an occasion to perform an autopsy on the deceased by the name of Katie Flowers?
Yes, I did.
And during the course of your autopsy, did you take several photographs?
I did.
And after you complete the autopsy, did you complete an autopsy report?
Yes.
Mr. Clerk, witness, All right, and I'll show you what's been marked. And it's number 163. This appears to be the autopsy report to be completed in the case.
Yes, this is a copy of the autopsy report.
Not that anyone could show you what's been previously admitted for record purposes only at this point. Section 154 to be the identification photo of Kate Flowers.
Yes, it is.
Finally, I'm going to tell you what's been marked as substantial exhibits. 165 to 172. These appear to be photographed on the course of your autopsy of Kate Flowers.
Yes, there are photographs as well as one X-ray taken at the time of autopsy.
And these all fairly accurately depict the deceased at the time of conducting this autopsy.
Yes.
This time around, the state's going to offer state's exhibits 163 and 172 for all purposes. You didn't know the name.
Exhibits 163 through 172 are admitted for all purposes.
Make a post to the jury on.
You may.
All right, Dr. Hastings, we've already heard about the generalities of autopsy, so we'll jump right into this particular one. Okay?
All right.
If you could talk about the external examination. Well, let me ask you this first of all. How old was the decedent at the time of her death?
63 years old.
And what was her date of birth?
The date of birth was August 2nd of 1959.
Okay, go ahead and describe your external examination in this case.
So the beginning, the external involves the general description of the decedent, height and weight, things of that nature, hair color. There was some therapy that the hospital had attempted to do, unfortunately unsuccessfully, to try and resuscitate her from her injuries. And then she had the gunshot wound of the head. Would you like me to get into that description now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the evidence of therapy first.
Yes, she had a plethora of therapeutic interventions that the hospital had attempted to do to try to save her life, including placing an endotracheal tube or a tube down her airway to try and assist her in breathing. They'd also done multiple IVs and done multiple surgical interventions, including a thoracotomy incision, which is an incision on the left side of the chest, which they'll do to try and explore to see if there's any bleeding there. There's an abdominal incision, and they'd also made an incision on the thigh as well as on the neck.
Okay. Let's move on to the evidence of injury.
So she had one gunshot wound. There was a gunshot entrance wound involving the left side of her face. Associated with that gunshot wound, there's what was called stippling on the skin. Stippling is important because it can help us determine the range of fire. So if the muzzle of the firearm is close to the skin, it can deposit gunpowder particles on the skin, which can produce these red dot-like structures or lesions on the skin called stippling. So typically, in order to get an exact determination of the range, you have to test the specific gun with the specific type of ammunition. But on typical, it'd be within about 3 feet on average for how far from the muzzle to the skin to have that stippling. It can be up to about 3 feet, although in some instances it can be longer, possibly even up to 4 to 5 feet.
Okay, so you mentioned the stippling. Was there stippling in this particular autopsy?
Yes, she did have stippling, indicating medium range. Again, that's the specific ammunition and the specific gun, likely within approximately 3 feet or so.
Okay, and we can talk about that further when we look at the photographs, but go ahead and move forward with the evidence of injury and the gunshot wound.
Yes, so internally, her injuries associated with this entrance wound,
He looks like a cool dude.
entered and damaged multiple important structures.
I'm sure
So in the order, general
he was in
order,
the cool
so
gang at
bullet
school.
traveled through
Hey,
the
Coach
kind of
Rose.
nerdy.
which is the lower jawbone.
I didn't think so.
The epiglottis. Epiglottis is a structure that if you're swallowing or eating food, it will cover the airway to prevent that food or liquid or whatever.
Okay, I think I'm done grifting. I think I've told everybody I can tell.
So into that structure, the back of the throat, the right common carotid artery. So the carotid artery is the artery that's bringing blood from the heart and supplying the brain. The
So
right
yeah,
jugular
after
vein,
this dude's
the
finished
jugular vein is the vein that's bringing
having a
the
chitty chat,
blood back. So the carotid artery brings
our
the blood
man
from the heart
on
up
the
to the head, and
stands.
then the jugular vein brings the blood back down to the heart. So both of those structures were injured. Went
What
through the
on
right
earth could he have to say?
sternocleidomastoid muscle, which is this muscle right here on the side of the neck. And in association with these injuries, there were fractures of the highway bone, which is a U-shaped bone up in the upper neck. The thyroid cartilage, also known as the Adam's apple, fractures of the mandible or the lower jawbone, and there were fractures and dislocations of numerous teeth. And then the bullet was recovered from the soft tissues of the posterior neck. So the posterior means the back, so the back of the neck. And the general direction of this wound within the body
Posterior
is left, right.
usually
front,
means
back,
the
and
bone.
outward.
So you have a note here that describes, I guess, something with the left eye. Did you discuss that? We're looking at the bottom of page 2. It says the left eye has a periorbital ankylosis.
Yes, so associated with this wound, there is bleeding surrounding the left eye as well.
Okay, if you can move forward to the internal examination.
So she did the internal examination when performing an autopsy. We document the traumatic injuries. Also, as part of doing an autopsy, we will document any natural disease that the person may have. By natural disease, I mean disease involving the internal organs, such as the heart and liver and various visceral organs not related to the trauma. So she did have extensive disease, extensive natural disease, most significant of which was that she had pancreatic adenocarcinoma that had metastasized to her liver. So the pancreas is an organ within the upper abdomen. So she had cancer involving that had metastasized or traveled to her liver with at least 15 metastatic lesions involving her liver. She'd also previously had a myocardial infarct, also known as a heart attack. So there was scarring involving her heart. She also had chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, specifically emphysema, which is a disease involving the lung, typically associated with smoking, where the airway structures are damaged by the smoke and become enlarged, which shortness of breath and breathing difficulties. In addition to that, she had atherosclerosis of her aorta, which is when you get thickening of the wall of the aorta, where it becomes, you can develop plaques within the lumen or the interior of the aorta. So those were the most significant of her natural disease that she had.
Okay. Let's go ahead and look at the photographs. And start with exhibit number 64. For the record, could you go ahead and please say the case number for this particular autopsy for the record?
Yes, so each case is assigned a specific case number. This case number states that all items for this case, including the autopsy report, all photographs that you see here on the placard, any toxicology or anything like that, it's on the autopsy report. So in this specific case, it's IFS, which stands for Institute of Forensic Sciences / the year, in this case, 22-21047.
Okay. Okay, stage 164, can you tell us what we see in this photograph?
This is what we call an identification photograph. So there's a placard underneath here with the case number I previously mentioned. This is used for identification purposes in order to take a photograph to demonstrate evidence that this is the specific person who's autopsied and is associated with this case, this placard. You can see a little bit of this gunshot wound on the left side of the face that we'll see better pictures of later, as well as some stippling on the skin, which we'll get into as well later.
First, we try. So as you're describing this, doctor, if you would mind,
Oh, certainly.
the purpose of the jury pointing to the injuries that you're describing. Stage 165.
This is what is called an as-is photograph. So this is a photograph of the body. Once I open the body bag, I have not made any manipulations to the body. I have not removed any of the evidence for the therapy from the hospital. So if you're looking at the photograph, you can see this endotracheal tube that I previously described. That's the tube that's coming out of the mouth. It's used for breathing. You can see these envelopes on the hands, which are an attempt to try and preserve gunshot residue for gunshot residue analysis. And there's various tubes coming from the body that were placed by the hospital.
Stage 166.
And this is another photograph of the lower body. Again, you see all these tubes that are coming from various places, including the chest and bladder, with collection receptacles overlying present between the legs.
Page 167. And let me just before you answer, I'll state for the record that in respect for the decedent, you have covered the private parts for the photograph.
So this is the body after some of the therapy was removed. So this is that you can see the identification number on the placard as well. This is after the clothing has been removed, so we can see where the specific injuries are.
168.
So here we're getting into the gunshot entrance wound. So here you can see this round defect here is the gunshot entrance wound. So typically gunshot entrance wounds are round and have what's called a marginal abrasion. So you see this red circumferential ring around the gunshot wound consistent with the gunshot entrance wound. I previously mentioned the stippling, which are the red dot-like lesions that you see on the skin. You can see all of these little red dots with hemorrhage around them, which are consistent with stippling, including extending on the left side of the face here and extending onto the neck as well.
And so you kind of see in this photograph towards the right side of the neck, a large area of like stitching.
Yes, I previously mentioned they've done an incision here, possibly looking for traumatic injury, and there's a large amount of associated hemorrhage here. The bullet is on the right side of the neck, so the back, the right side of the neck in this area. So her face is overlying where the bullet would be. But if you imagine the back of the neck over here in this region, here would be where the bullet is. There's a large amount of hemorrhage all surrounding that area.
Page 169.
And this is another photograph. Again, this is depicting some of the stippling again. The gunshot entrance wound is down here. And then again, all these dot-like lesions here represent stippling from gunshot residue straight or gunshot the powder striking the skin.
Dr. Hayden, during the course of our meeting in preparation for this trial, you had the opportunity to watch a body cam from a police officer who was there at the time of the shooting of the victim. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Based upon what you saw in that video, is that consistent with the stippling that we see here on the victim's face?
I couldn't definitively see how far away, based on just the video, from the muzzle of the weapon the scene was, so she was in a darker room. But it could be consistent with that.
David.
I mentioned that generally it's within about 3 feet. But if you have the,
Aren't you streaming right now?
Gun with ammunition, and in some cases it can extend out further than 3 feet.
Page 170.
And again, you're seeing even on the eye, you can see some stippling here, so indicating the eye was open.
Cell phone data.
The eyeball itself.
Well, there's always ups and downs.
171. What is it depicting?
This is an internal photograph.
This is not the brightest part of this trial, but hey, we are
Legs are extending down here.
away from our boy and getting on the
This is an
stand.
incision. We make an incision, Y-shaped incision on the body. The chest skin is
wanna
reflected
come hang out
upwards
over here?
towards the face. So this is the skin reflected upwards, and this is the carotid artery here. Normally, the whole carotid artery should all be intact like this. You can see where the carotid artery is injured. And normally the tissue should be a little bit more like this color, kind of a pale tan of pink color. All of this purple discoloration here, it's all hemorrhage associated with the injury, where the blood is pouring out of this artery into all the surrounding soft tissues, which all damaged as well.
Final stage 172.
And then here's an X-ray. We take X-rays at the time of autopsy in order to determine wherein bullets are and make sure we recover all those bullets. As I mentioned, the bullet is in the posterior right side of the neck. So here is towards the very upper right side of the back where it meets the neck. You can see the bullet right here on the X-ray, and I did recover that bullet during the autopsy.
Witness approach, Your Honor.
You may.
Ooh. I have to get back on camera for that.
I'll show you what the previously admitted state exhibit number 176. This is previously the projectile that you were covering on the autopsy date.
Yes, this is the projectile, and this is my handwriting on the envelope. And it is
Nope.
here as well.
Is that your projectile, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to get the DNA expert to check that.
Ooh. He's all intimidated. The prosecutor looks like his wife's boyfriend.
Examination we discussed, Ms. Flowers had pancreatic cancer.
Yes,
Did that have any effect on her cause of death?
it did not.
Based upon your autopsy and your expertise, what is your opinion of the cause of death in this particular case?
The cause of death was gunshot wound of the head into the neck.
And what was your
You don't
conclusion
say.
as to the manner of death?
Homicide.
So it's separate from your autopsy, Dr. Hastings, but are you familiar with the effect of methamphetamine
Yes,
on the human body, particularly from affecting the mental and physical faculties of a person?
yes, I deal with that quite often and testify to that quite often. Is oftentimes when people are killed by another person, there's often methamphetamine involved.
Often?
No, I do not.
Okay, can you speak to how methamphetamine would affect in person?
No, I cannot.
So you don't be able to speak generally?
I can only speak in generalities. I cannot speak as to how a specific drug would affect a specific person.
Oh, this is messed
Based
up.
on what you know about the effects of methamphetamine, can you describe to the jury how that would affect somebody in general?
So in general, people use methamphetamine because it's a stimulant. It can cause euphoria. In other words, make people feel good or feel high.
Do we really?
Physiologically, it can cause tachycardia
Yes.
or rapid heartbeat,
Happy
hypertension,
turkey.
also known as high blood pressure.
Welcome.
It can cause adverse effects, including myocardial infarcts or heart attacks, sudden cardiac death, strokes, all kinds of terrible health consequences. Speaking of the behavior of people in general, people can become anxious, have rapid changes of mood, can develop psychosis where they lose touch with reality and can sometimes become violent and even attack other people or kill other people in some instances.
Seriously, did this kid graduate yesterday? Looks like he's 20.
He looks like he's 35, but he never quite grew out of his boyish looks.
The boyish
It would be
charm.
very, very difficult to survive these types of injuries. The brain needs constant supply of blood and oxygen.
You don't say,
It's
sir.
very metabolically active. If you have the blood circulation to the brain cut off, you can lose consciousness within 10 seconds. So when you have these injuries to the carotid and the carotid artery, which is supplying the blood to the brain, that's a very, very serious injury that's practically lethal. And then the jugular vein as well, which is bringing all the blood back.
So if you have a hole in your
This
head,
is the
it's
type of
bad.
injury that would have a very low survivability and is oftentimes very rapidly lethal.
Thank you, Dr.
You're welcome.
That's the reach out.
Bounce.
Thank
May this one is released.
you.
Thank you, Dr.
Here we go. Here we go, people. It's all on.
Call your next one.
Next time around, the state is going to offer state exhibit number 139, as well as state exhibit number 148. State 139 are the medical records. The defendants, Nestor Hernandez, state exhibit number 148 on the medical records of one of the victims in this case, Katie Flowers. They are both from Methodist Hospital. They are also both accompanied by a witness records affidavit by the custodian of records, Nik Starow from Methodist Dali Medical Center. These records have been on file with the court at least 20 days prior to trial, and were also previously tendered in discovery to the defense.
Yeah, no objection, Your Honor.
All right. Case Exhibits 139 and 148 from the minute.
Permission to publish and summarize for the jury, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. So we'll start with taking number 148. These are the medical records for Katie Flowers. Start on page 1. It indicates that Katie Flowers is admitted to Methodist Hospital on October 22nd, 2022 at 11:40 a.m. Primary visit diagnosis, traumatic cardiac arrest. Visit diagnosis, traumatic cardiac arrest was a gunshot wound to the neck.
Thank you for that, Mo. Yes, that's going to be an amazing
Go
stream.
back to page 2. Puncture wound with foreign body of the left cheek. Puncture wound without foreign body of other specified.
Thank you.
Neck.
Can't
On page
wait.
4. Julia Pido, Katie Flowers, since 112 years old, but female who represents the emergency department, gunshot wound to the face, neck, unresponsive. We were notified by overhead there was an active shooter in the hospital. Asked the charge nurse to activate a level 1 trauma, and shortly after the patient was brought downstairs with CPR in progress. Large amount of blood on the face and head, patient pulseless and apneic, meaning no breathing. Page 6, Julia Pido, female who represents the emergency department with cardiac arrest after gunshot wound to the face and neck. Emergently intubated patient while Dr. Simonson performed thoracotomy. Initially no signs of life, and patient appeared gravely ill. ROSD was obtained and trauma team take patient to the OR. Just for the record, ROSC is return of spontaneous circulation, in other words, no heartbeats. Here we're looking at page number 15. Complications, cardiac arrest, and start of case, unable to achieve ROSC, return of spontaneous circulation, heartbeat, time of death, on at 12:18 p.m. And finally, just a description of the procedure. This is on page 16. This is an unknown age female who presented with level 1 trauma, gunshot wound to the bilateral lower neck, supraclavicular region. Patient had a witness cardiac arrest, and due to concern for intrathoracic vascular injury, an anterolateral thoracotomy was performed in the trauma bay, as well as endotracheal intubation and activation of NTP. She was also noticed to have pulsatile bleeding from the gunshot wound on her right neck. A manual pressure was held for suspected carotid artery injury. Bilateral femoral arteries placement was attempted, however, was unsuccessful due to inability to pass the wire beyond the iliac veins. After approximately 15 minutes, RFP was achieved, and patient was taken emergently to the operating room. Description of procedure: patient brought from trauma bay directly to the operating room and transferred to the table. Shortly after arriving in the operating room, patient went into cardiac arrest, and open cardiac messaging was initiated. While this was being done, the patient was quickly prepped and draped from chin to knees while maintaining manual pressure on the right neck. We began by performing a right cervical incision just anterior to the SCM. This was deepened to the subcutaneous tissues, and the carotid sheath was entered. It was immediately noted to be a laceration to the right common carotid, just proximal to the bifurcation. Proximal and distal control of the carotid was attained, and clamps were placed on either side of the injury. The right IJB was examined and noted to be intact without obvious injury. Next, we turn our attention to the abdomen, which had become increasingly distended, given the patient's ongoing hemodynamic instability and clinical findings. Was elected to perform a laparotomy due to rule out hemoperitoneum and intravascular injury. A short midline incision was made.
Is this council reading in some
the fascia was incised and the
evidence into the record?
I think so.
Revealed no
Yeah.
peritoneum or sepsis.
Do you want to skip this?
Abdominal exploration is being done. We continue to attempt hard placement in the groin for large volume resuscitation. Difficulty with obtaining percutaneous access and right femoral cut down was performed for improved visualization. The right femoral vein was controlled proximally and distally with vessel loops, then accessed with the temporary line kit angiocath needle. Despite accessing the vein directly, we continue to encounter significant resistance from passing the wire more than 10 to 15 centimeters. Ultimately, the patient was noticed to have progressive hemorrhage from multiple sites and remained in cardiac arrest despite massive transfusion. Pupils were now fixed and dilated, and there was no organized activity observed. Time of death called at 12:15 p.m.
No, I think the state's about to close the
We'll
case.
move on to state number 139. These are medical records, again, from Dallas, Methodist Medical Center for the defendant. State number 139. In page 1. Just showing the discharge information when the defendant was initially admitted on 10/22 of 22. He was discharged on the same day at 6:31 p.m. Diagnosis: unspecified open wound, right thigh, puncture wound, right thigh. And finally, on page 39, with regard to a urine amphetamine screen, was positive for amphetamines.
Sure, okay, so he was on amphetamines.
Records, there is no indication whatsoever.
No surprise. Well, he's going to use that.
Treatment or otherwise.
So basically, he's going to say that he was on meth, and that's a reason why he should get second degree, not first degree. I don't get that at all. That makes no sense to me.
And at this time, Your Honor,
House. That's okay. Here we go. No 50-minute breaks. Thanks to Bill Hammer.
All rise.
Wow.
And then, if I feel like you should testify, and I tell you that. Now, Nestor, that's a long way and a long way to get around to the point that you've been fully advised by both myself and Mr. Peel concerning your right to testify and the pitfalls that testimony could potentially possess. And one of those things that we've discussed is
Dude, what makes you think this is a good idea?
Either take the witness stand or not. If you choose to take the witness stand, you don't get to pick and choose the questions you answer. You're required to answer all questions propounded that were instructed you to answer from both the prosecutor or from both your lawyer as well as the state lawyer. You understand that? And then they're allowed to go into your prior record with certain prohibitions that the court would enforce. I'm not concerned about that from that standpoint. But you understand that I told you, you've got a very seasoned and experienced prosecutor over here that is very adept at asking questions to accused criminal offenses. I would explain that to you, correct? All right. Bottom line, this is your case. It's not our case. We have given you advice as to what we think. Well, our advice is not really important at this point in time. The only question is right now, do you wish to take the stand in your defense? Okay. And understanding all the caveats that I've explained to you here in open court, you understanding everything about it, you're telling this court that you wish to testify and you would prefer me to call you as a witness when the jury comes back in the courtroom. Because that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hernandez. You like to understand your attorney's explanation, correct? You understand that when you do take the stand, you will be treated like any other witness. You'll be subject to cross-examination, the whole, everything else. You understand? Yeah. And you knowing all that, you want to testify. Is that right? All right. Okay. Let's go to the jury.
How you want to do that as far as
We have to take the stand before we bring jury in.
That's correct. Hold on 1 second.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
How's it going?
You got here just in time.
Yeah.
Still get up and you go downstairs.
Take your feet up on the start again, so that the jury doesn't need anything to speak.
Okay.
Got a nice suit.
Bad idea. Yeah, nice suit.
I'm hearing you two places and I don't know where.
Well, you're an audio technician. You should go work it out.
I probably should.
All right, say having arrested.
We call Nestor Hernandez. Yeah, when that's you get sworn in front of the jury. I got from the jury. Don't you truck family, you guys in place.
Oh,
Would you state your name, please?
Nestor Hernandez?
Nestor, how the person?
You got one.
31 years old?
Got it.
Okay. Can you tell this jury where you were born?
United States.
I mean, what city?
Dallas, Texas.
Okay. And where were you raised?
Dallas, Texas.
Okay. Did you go to school here in the Dallas area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you attend high school here for at least time in the Dallas area?
Yes, sir.
And what high school was that?
WTY High School.
Yes, sir. I'm having a little bit of trouble here. I want you to speak up. I want the jury to make sure they hear everything you have to say. You didn't complete high school, is that correct?
No, sir.
You see where the prosecutor's microphone
Once you
is?
attending high school, could you give the jury an idea of what you've done for the last 15 years or so of your life?
Well, I was in prison and working.
Now, we're going to cover that. You actually, and it's not something we're here to hide from. You're here to tell this jury and admit that you.
That's why you can't hear him.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And in that regard, the
I'm
first
shocked.
time you went, what year was that?
2012.
Right.
And what you go
He's
to
been in
prison for,
prison.
2012?
Simple robbery.
Okay. And how long were you in prison then?
2 years.
Now, after you got out of that, did there come a time when you were convicted of another robbery that involved Selena Della Torre?
Yes, sir.
So both of you were accused of being a part of a robbery and subsequently were sentenced to how much time in prison at that time?
8 years.
And what year was it that you got out of prison?
2021.
Hey, Christine.
And you remember what month it was?
October.
So in October of 2021, you were placed on parole. How much of your 8-year sentence have you served?
Almost 7 years.
Okay, so you were on parole for basically another year after that?
Yes, sir.
Now, once you got out of the penitentiary, the second time,
Right.
Selena had gotten released earlier than you, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell the jury if you would, from the time that you got released in October of 2021, and even before that, when you weren't in prison, could you tell the jury what kind of work it was that you did?
Robbery.
When I got out,
Yes.
I was working at a vacuum film company. I was a material handler. I drove forklifts at that warehouse.
Okay, what kind of warehouse was it? What kind of work were they? What was it that they were making there?
Trash bags.
Trash bags? And you were responsible for pumping materials in the machines that would end up spitting on the
AKA
trash bags,
stolen
Yes, sir.
goods.
The trains come with the material. I hook it up.
Dali.
Yeah, I realized.
Process of making sure the machines get the material
All right.
they need to make the bags.
Yeah, and were you still working?
That was
at
me,
job,
not her.
actually, on the day that this situation occurred?
Yes, sir.
Were you
Right.
required or supposed to go to work that afternoon or that early evening?
Yes, sir. I was supposed to be at work at 8 p.m.
And what hours were you working there during this period of time?
8 p.m. to 8 a.m. 8 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Well, he's got a good work ethic. I'll give him that.
I scooted over your early background pretty quick. Let me just ask you, what do you have here in the Dallas area for family?
I got 3 other brothers, a mom, my aunt, nieces.
You got quite an extended family, right?
Yes, sir.
And I didn't notice any father in that.
Yeah, he has a mom, but he has no dad.
Yeah.
And your father, where's he at?
I don't know my father.
Now, Nestor,
I think
I
it's
want to talk a little
tattooed.
bit about it. Could you tell this jury, would you describe for them how you and Selena rekindled your romance after you were released in prison in October of 21?
Well, she texted me on Facebook. To be honest, I ignored her. She wanted to know where I was living at. She was like, "Where do you live at?" And I was like,
There's background. I have for you.
Dali, would you pause it for a second?
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there a way we can equalize this so that we're
I
not
did.
too loud? Oh,
I
you've
just-
already done
I
it?
made it. I made it louder. Is it?
Oh,
Did you
cool.
not
Okay.
notice?
No, I was just making sure. I just want to
If-
make it comfortable for everyone.
We're
Thank you.
still too loud. Let us know.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
Please.
please. Thank you for the feedback.
You're a good egg.
You're a good aunt.
Yeah, good aunt. Now what?
Buffer City.
and so about a month and a half, I finally I made up with her. I didn't show her where I live, but I showed her it was at DMV. I gave her that address. I told her to meet me there.
I'm still too loud, huh?
Okay, were you interested in rekindling this relationship, or you felt like you were somewhat hesitant once you got released?
No, I was hesitant
What was the reason why you were hesitant?
because
Oh, weird.
she wasn't there whenever she got out. She got out, and she wrote me a couple times, and put money a little bit there, but she disappeared. So,
And subsequent to all that,
We need to fix this up.
back together, correct?
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
And was that relationship somewhat volatile, or was it peaceful? And would you describe it as peaceful and loving, or would you describe it as passionate and peaceful loving and
Mhm.
passionate
It wasn't a good relationship. It was
Oh, yeah.
a rocky relationship.
and then sometime in the early part of 2022, you found out that she was pregnant, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jury what your thoughts were when you found out that she was pregnant?
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to have it. I've only been out 3 months. I was still looking for work at that time. I was on house arrest. So
Explain that for me, if you would. You said you were on house arrest. What does that mean?
it means I can't come out the house.
Okay, so when you got out of the penitentiary, you were placed on parole, put on house arrest, which means that unless you were working, you were not really allowed to leave your home, correct?
No, sir.
And then you, when you said no, I mean, is that a correct statement?
Yeah, like I couldn't.
You had to wait to get a job before you.
Yes, sir. I had to wait to get a job to be able to leave the house.
And you subsequently did that and got a job and continued to work, correct?
Yes, sir.
I changed my audio in yours EU, so I lowered it. So let us know. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, I've also lowered mine a little bit
Mhm.
more on
Okay.
my end. How's that going now? Do you want to play a little bit of court and we'll just talk a little
Yeah.
for a second and we might even back it up 20 seconds once it stops buffering. Sorry, everybody. Thanks for your patience. We just want to make sure it's all good.
Oh, thank you,
Getting much
Mars.
better from everybody.
Yeah, Sal is perfect. Oh, he's not perfect. He's pretty great.
For crying out loud.
Oh, I'm good too. Really, I'm usually
Feel-
too loud.
I assume that I'm okay.
You seem all right.
Yeah,
Just you told me you were glowing white. That's all.
it was fun this morning. Like it's not so much right now, but this morning totally sounded like Barry White. It was amazing.
Apparently, you told me you sounded like Barry White.
I did.
Give me a Barry White voice, and I'll
It
be
is great.
impressed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because like, yeah, I woke up not feeling great, and my
Sal's
voice
smash is perfect.
decided to like go down a little bit.
I'm gonna refresh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If you're having trouble, I can share the screen.
Yes.
No, I think I'm okay.
Oh, no, we're all
I
good.
brought the ID card, magazine, and the.
Be quiet.
Your early
It so said
background.
he was
Pretty
pretty
quick. Let me just
close.
ask you, what do you have here in the Dallas area for family?
I got
Hey,
3 little
Tico.
brothers, a mom.
Okay, how do we all sound together now, guys? Can
Yeah.
we all just talk a bit? Oh, dear
Do we
me.
sound like the Brady Bunch? Like all of us? I don't even know their names at this point. Jan. I don't know. I can't think straight.
Sure, Jan.
I might actually get this
Okay, yeah,
going
I'm
in
sorry,
another
guys.
tab. I will. No, that's totally fine. It all
Hey,
happens.
Melissa.
Hello, Mel. Hello, Mel. How's it going? Hello, Mel. Hey, Mel. How's it going? Yeah, we're just having a little bit of technical issues.
Right?
What I'm going to
Crying
do,
out loud.
it's all right. It's usually me.
I know.
So I am going to get this video going in another tab. And what do you remember? Do you know approximately where you were at?
323.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. How's that?
I sound like a
323.
whiny shizzy, huh?
Oh, please no. Don't be bad. All right. And yeah, we don't want any impressions.
It's,
Oh no.
yeah.
All right. Screen. Here we go.
You got it.
Yeah, I do. Okay, and we'll add that to stage instead. There we go. Problemo sorted.
Oh, mine started working now. Great.
Yours started working?
Yeah.
Yeah, you hang on. Okay, well you do yours. Hang on,
Well,
because
hold on.
you
I
do
don't know
yours.
for sure.
You sure?
Yeah, no, it's working now, so I'll add mine.
Okay, you do yours.
Wait, hey.
I do have a standby, but if yours is
Okay.
working, you do yours. Hi,
You do that,
Luna.
dear?
You're just in time because when only a little bit into his testimony.
Unless you were working, you were not really allowed to leave your home, correct?
No, sir.
And then you.
Great.
You
Perfect.
said no.
Hey,
Is
this
that
way
a
out.
correct statement?
Yeah, like I couldn't.
You had to wait to get a job before you.
Yes, sir. I had to wait to get a job to be able to
thank you,
leave the
David.
house.
You subsequently did that and got a job and continued to work, correct?
Yes, sir.
MLS raid. So yeah, we just got an MLS raid. Maybe we should explain to everyone who this fine young man is.
He is an upstanding character.
Yes.
You guys have walked in just at the time when the defendant is on the stand, obviously of his own choice. I really don't think that his counsel were that pleased about the idea.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they were probably holding him back with all their might. Not obviously it's his right, but okay. So this is Nestor Hernandez. He was just out of jail, I believe, prison.
Yep,
when he was 2021, and he was visiting his lovely girlfriend in the hospital.
His baby mama.
His baby mama, as you call it. This is Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
And he was visiting her just after her having a C-section with his baby. He was toting a firearm, as you do in Texas.
Yeah.
He had some alcohol with him. And he decided, I don't know what made him so mad, but he decided to open fire.
He thought his girlfriend had an affair and the baby wasn't his.
Yeah. I missed that bit. Yeah, he decided to open fire and didn't hurt, I believe, well, he did hurt the girlfriend, but the people who did get hurt were some hospital workers who intervened. So unfortunately, there was a nurse and a caseworker.
Yeah, a social worker who got shot.
Social worker who were unalived in the process. Yeah. There was much blood. And this all was caught on body cam. And we, fortunately, thanks to the help of Wilhelm, who was with us, we were able to avoid showing all of that gore on this channel. And Nik, who's running the AM sessions, this all was all broadcast live just last week. We're just doing a catch up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this fella here has decided that he's going to testify, despite quite a mountain of evidence. There's lots of evidence, video evidence. And obviously, there's forensic evidence, but there's a lot of video evidence.
Well, and his defense opening was just don't charge him with capital murder. Give him something else, please.
Please, second degree first.
He obviously had a lot of meth in his system. And I believe that the defense is going to be that he so intoxicated with the methamphetamine that he didn't know what he was doing,
and he was drinking.
Not full intent, and drinking, so not full intent.
So anyways,
interesting.
That's the story.
That's the story. So you're all caught up. Let's go, hey?
Now we buffer.
If you're having a buffering problem, I can take over.
Yeah, if you can easily.
That's fine. Yeah.
I don't know why.
What's the timestamp?
3:24.
Okay, great. All right. Do you want to remove that one from stage, and I'll put this one on?
Oh, look at that smile. How can you convict that?
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to have it. I've only been out 3 months. I was still looking for work at that time. I was on house arrest. So,
explain that for me, if you would. You said you were on house arrest. What does that mean?
Turn the quality up too.
I can't come out the house.
Sure.
Okay. So when you got out of the penitentiary, you were placed on parole, put on house arrest, which means that unless you were working, you were not really even allowed to leave your home, correct?
No, sir.
Oops.
No, sir.
Sorry.
And then you, when you said no, I mean, is that a
we don't see all that pretty face.
Yeah, like I couldn't.
You had to wait to get a job before you.
Yes, sir. I had to wait to get a job to be able to leave the house.
And you subsequently did that. Got a job.
Turn it up and go to 1.25.
Yes, sir.
In the months that she was pregnant, leading up to
turn up the volume.
Yeah, a little bit.
Did things stay rocky throughout that period?
Yes, they did. She wouldn't let me go to no appointments. I would want to go. I would tell her she would say yes, and then at the last minute she would block her number.
You hear that?
I even drove to her dad's car lot and asked her sister. I was like, "Hey, she here? I was supposed to take her to a doctor's appointment." And she told me, "No, you can call her if you want. She's not here." And so I told her I couldn't call her because she blocked me. So, and she was like, "Well, I don't know about no appointment." So, I mean,
did you believe that she was faithful to you during this period of time?
No, sir.
I'm sorry?
No, sir. She wasn't. I know for a fact she wasn't.
And so this relationship continued.
Looks like he's constipated.
Let's talk about the days leading up to her giving birth. Were you stay rocky even up to this point in time when she was about to have
I wonder if
a baby?
he needs glasses.
Yes, yeah, yes, yeah, it is.
I say that as somebody who has
If you
glasses.
could, explain if you the best
He's
way you
squinting
can
like he
to try
can't
to get
see.
this jury to understand exactly what
Okay,
kind of
now that we have a new
relationship y'all
video
were having.
source, I think we're all a bit loud.
It was just like I said, even
Can you boost it?
The day before,
I'm boosting it a fair
I was
bit.
supposed to.
I'll do it. I'll put
When
me
her
boost.
water broke, I was going to take her to the hospital. I was like, "Come on, son, I'm taking her to the hospital." And she was like, "Okay," you know what I'm saying? And so we came outside. She got her back out. We went to the back, and I got my truck. And then she got in the car. And then out of nowhere, she's like, "Hey, I don't want you to take me." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "I don't want you to take me." And I was like, "Why not?" You know what I'm saying? She's like, "I just don't. She's like, I don't want you to take me." So we got into an argument. I had a red polo shirt. I threw the
You're dropping dollar sign.
She was sitting inside of her car, and she had a glass cup. She stepped out and started. I was like, "Watch out!" She threw it right here. She hit my arm, and I was like, "Man," I started telling her like, "Man," I was like, I don't get you. Like, I really don't understand you. Like, there's women out there that would want their dads, their baby's dads, to actually be there for the appointments, take them to the hospital, and you know what I'm saying, and be there for them. You know what I'm saying? You don't let me do that. I just don't understand you. I don't get you. And I hopped in my truck, and I peeled out.
He hoed my truck.
I was mad. I took off, and this is the Grove side area. And so I was driving towards Carrollton, and I got to like about Market Center or Medical
drive-by is
Center,
hard.
around that area. And she called me and she was like, "Hey, are you gonna take me or not?" So I was like, "You want me to take you or not?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Hurry up, come pick me up. I need you to come take me."
She'd be tripping.
I just want to ask you a couple other questions. Again, we're not trying to hide anything from the jury. You admit that you used methamphetamines this time, did you not?
Yeah, that Thursday.
And you drank.
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And you also were in possession of a fire.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dali, explain and talk to the jury about that. Why was it that you would have had a firearm knowing that as a convicted felon, you're not supposed to have it?
I'm assuming y'all seen the video where I was getting arrested when I was trying to fix my truck. The windows, my back window was broken. Somebody kept vandalizing my truck. Someone broke the side window, and then the back window, and then my tire.
You lost me here a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. You're referring to this particular situation or some other situation?
It was the on that video where I was getting arrested. Like somebody kept vandalizing my truck. I don't know who it was, but it cost money. Yeah.
But you had been in possession for a firearm for a while leading up into October, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Pro 2.
Now, on the day before, had there been some discussion between you and Selena regarding that particular firearm and whether or not she was going to put your name on the birth certificate as the father of this child?
Yes, sir.
Explain to the jury what it was that she told you in that regard.
Yes, sir.
Regarding what
Selena told him.
She's already testified to you, right? He testified yesterday, and I'm not offering for the truth, though. She already admitted to the statement, so it's not being offered for the truth. Just as to the mindset that it put him on hearing what she stated in court was the truth regarding the statement.
My recollection may be wrong, Judge, but I believe that she denied the last statement.
No, she. I'll ask you. I'll present that. No, the jury will recall it. I mean, if we need to, that's it, we take a break and have a court before we read that back. So the day before that, there was a conversation between you and Selena regarding her admitting or putting your name on the birth certificate, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how did that tie into this particular firearm?
She wanted me to get rid of the pistol. We were in the parking lot at Dickies. She wanted a baked potato before I took her to the hospital. She was hungry. And I was like, hey, you're gonna give her my last name? And she was like, I don't know, maybe I still want to give him my dad's last name. And I was like, why you want to give me your dad's last name? I said, he's supposed to have my last name. And she was like, well, get rid of the pistol. You know what I'm saying? If you get rid of the pistol, I'll do it. And I was like, bet. And she was like, for real? And I was like, yeah, I really don't need it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't need it. And she was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, well, throw it. And I was like, why throw it when I could just sell it? You know, I was like, I could get rid of it. And she was like, are you ready? I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, watch. And I keep the gun and a box of bullets with me in the truck. And I was like, look, she had a bag. And so I placed it in the bag. I was like, look, I don't need it. I placed it in her bag. She got makeup bag. I was like, look, I don't need it. I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, as soon as I get it sold, I'm gonna sell it. And she was like, okay. And after that, I took it to Methodist hospital.
Okay, so at that point in time, when you had the conversation before going to the hospital, the day before the birth, correct?
Yes, sir.
It was she basically gave you the ultimatum, either get rid of the gun or your name's not going to be attached to your child.
Yes, sir.
Now, in all honesty, Nestor, did you have some questions in your mind as to whether that baby was in fact yours?
I asked her earlier for a DNA test. Her parents got upset with me.
Okay, but leading into that particular day now, so you're telling this jury that when you had the conversation with her the day before she gave birth, that as a show of your good faith, you took that action, you took the gun, placed it into one of the bags that she was going to take with her into the hospital.
It wasn't in the bag that I.
What? Sorry, what?
But wasn't she a convicted felon too? So how is that a sign of good faith?
But like, okay, or whatever. Just back up a little bit.
Imagine her parents don't like him.
Yeah.
He put the gun in her bag as a sign of good faith when she was going to hospital to have their child.
That's how you say I love you in America.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. She was going to hospital.
Yeah.
He
well, you
put
never
a
know.
gun in
Hospitals
her
are
bag.
apparently a dangerous place.
Oh, yeah. Well, they are now. So I'm Australian. I don't get any of this. This makes no sense. No, I'm sure, like, just like placate me for a second. He's not making any sense, right?
No,
not really.
He's not making any sense.
But I'm not a
thank
gang
you.
member, so.
I mean, yeah, like, even as I wouldn't just go throwing a gun in somebody's bag as a sign of good faith. I don't even know what that means. It's
no,
like,
what's that mean?
Just in case you get into a shootout on your way to the hospital, here you go. I mean, I don't understand that.
Just in case. Okay, all right. Let's just say for a second they're gang members, which I don't understand either, right? But
yeah,
I mean, when I say I don't understand, I don't get how that all works. But let's say that's the case, and he's putting a gun in her bag. Maybe it's for protection in case someone comes and gets her from a rival gang. Maybe that's what he's saying.
I mean, that could be, but like, I mean, not that he particularly cares about laws and stuff, but like, again, if it's a sign of good faith, like, are you really going to throw your gun, illegal gun that you have, into your baby mama's bag, who she's a felon too, because she went to prison for robbery
well,
as well.
I doubt he really thinks of her as a felon.
Well, I know,
like
but
everyone
that's like,
is kind of.
There's other things kind of down the line from that as well. So it's just like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yes,
No,
John,
he doesn't have a license to have a gun. He's a felon. He's not allowed to
that's an
have one.
interesting way of putting it. That's true. Hospitals are dangerous. If you go and get out, your risk of infection is high. Well, that was the least of her worries.
Yeah. He was more
Clearly.
worried about lead poisoning.
Yeah, lead poisoning was bad, and for the workers as well. Does he have a license to have a gun? I don't think he's worried about that either.
No.
To be fair, I don't think that's high on his list of priorities. All right, let's keep going, shall we?
I thought she had an overnight bag, and then she had her makeup bag. I placed it in the makeup bag.
Okay. Now, did you carry that gun into the hospital that next day, or was it carried into the hospital in her baggage with her?
I carried both bags.
Okay.
I could shoot. You know what I'm saying? We walked in, but I did carry both bags. She told me to grab the bags. I grabbed the bags. And did you leave that bag? Was the gun still in that bag when you left the day before she gave birth? Yes, sir.
Okay. So the day that you came back into the hospital, where we've seen it on the videotape, you walking into the hospital, you have something in your hand, but that's a can of beer. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What kind of beer was it? Do you recall?
Still reserve.
I'm sorry?
Still reserve.
Okay. And we've seen your talk screen. It says you didn't really have any alcohol concentration, so you really hadn't any opportunity to really drink it at that point in time, had you?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about it. So the day before, when you took her to the hospital, you carried the bags in, and one of those bags had you put the gun in, so you knew that bag was there. And you were doing it to make her happy, so y'all could have your name on the birth certificate.
Yes, sir.
How long were you at the hospital the day before this incident occurred? Do you recall?
That same day, like after my stomach was torn?
Yes.
I stayed there till 7 or 8, I think. I don't want to say it was 8 p.m.
Did you have to work that night?
No, I was off.
You were off that night?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so, why was it that you left the hospital that night? Was there a fight, an argument, or was it just you were?
No. I was on house arrest, so I had to be. My parole officer let me stay there till 9 p.m. So I left an hour early, and so I could be home on time.
Okay. So did you go home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And could you tell the jury what happened the next day? What time did you tell the jury what started or what you did that following day?
I woke up. Well, really, my mom woke up, and she was like, "Hey, I'm about to go to work. I'm finna get a ride." And I was like, "Why you finna get a ride?" She's like, "Well, my tire is popped. I got a nail in my tire." She's like, "Can you change it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll change it. And she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna leave my keys right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get a ride." And she was like, "Are you gonna go to the hospital today?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna call Selena in a little bit and see, you know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna, it's cool to go over there." And she was like, "Okay." And I gave her a hug, and she was telling me, be a good dad, raise him, be there, don't be like your dad. I was like, I won't. I'm saying, I gave her a hug and a kiss, and she went to work.
What time of day was this, Nestor?
Like 7 a.m. Yeah, she had to be at work at 8 in the morning. Yeah.
And what did you do following that?
Well, I went outside. No, I didn't go outside. I ended up calling Selena. And I texted Selena, and I was like, "Hey, should I get a haircut? I want to take pictures. I want to take family pictures. I want to take family pictures. You and my son." She cut my hair, and she told me she didn't want me to come. She was like, "I don't want you to come." And I was like, "Why?" I was like, "Why don't you want me to come?" And she was like, "Nah, dude, I don't want you to come. I don't want you to come." And so I'm like, man. So I called her, and I ended up calling her. But when I called her, she was on the hospital phone. She was on the hospital phone, and we really didn't talk because she was talking on the phone. I want to say she was talking to CPS because I guess they were asking her questions about me because she was saying that when I get off parole and stuff he's like, yeah, he got like 2 months left on parole. Yeah, he got the job, and stuff like that. So I hung up the call. And I went outside. I was gonna go fix my mom's tire. I went outside, and then she called me. So whenever she called me, she was like, "Hey, what time are you gonna be here?" And I was like, man, I was like, man, I was like, I don't got time right now. I was like, well, my mom used tire fixed. I was like, I ain't got time to play games with you. I really don't. And she was like, oh, so you're not finna come? And I was like, nah. I was like, I'm not gonna go, but not right now. And then
Dude,
she was like,
be quiet.
she was like, oh, I ended up asking her, and I was like, who? I said, who has been over there? And she was like, why? I said, I was asking who's been over there. And she was like, oh, you think I got somebody over here? I said, nah. I said, I said, man, I'm talking about your family. I was like, has like your mom or your sisters or like you talk to anybody or anybody going? And she was like, oh man, you think I'm fucking somebody else? And I said, man, look, I know you fucking somebody else. And she's like, how you know? And I said, my pride,
there it is.
dick hurts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what it's about.
I said, my dick shit. I ain't playing with you. She hung the call.
You just hung
She hung
yourself,
the
dude.
call. After that, I was about to fix it. I was about to fix the tire. She texted me and she was like, hey, are you gonna sign the birth certificate? And I was like, of course. I texted back. I was like, of course. And so I was like, okay, I'm about to head to the hospital. So now I'm gonna head to the hospital. I go inside. I put my mom's car keys up, put them up, and I lock the apartment. I walk out, I hop in my truck, and I start driving towards the hospital. I start driving towards the hospital. I can't find it. I couldn't find it. I was driving. I drove for a minute. I stayed cutting corners, driving around, looking for the hospital. I even pulled over. Some people jogging. I was like, hey, do you know where Methodist Hospital is at? They said no. Okay, so I drove around. I was like, man, I know there's something over here. You know, I was just here yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I was like, so I put it on my GPS. The GPS was telling me to hop back on the freeway. I'm like, no, that's wrong. So finally, I was just like, man, I drove for a minute to where I ran my gas down, and I was like, damn, I need gas.
Okay, and this, I think you're giving us a good description, but maybe a little bit detailed as to how you got there. Let's talk about so.
Okay. So his counsel is like, okay, now I have to interrupt you. Shut up.
Yeah, it's like, give me a second here to ask you a question.
we can't see his counsel, but he's over there going.
Yeah, he definitely is. Because like, and somebody else, I don't remember who said. I think it was maybe Peace Peony. So like, you notice how the prosecution's not objecting at all to this.
No,
it's like because it's clearly a line.
Prosecution's over there going, it's an easy day.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous, honestly. Like why he even decided to testify is beyond me. It's really crazy.
It's one of those smartest dudes in the room kind of examples, I think. A little bit of that. Also, I mean, he's got, again, like people have been asking, why go to trial? Why is this a trial? He's looking at life in prison and nothing else. I mean, somehow death penalty is not on the table for some reason.
Capital murder, I believe, is they didn't want to go after capital murder because they wanted him to go to life prison without the possibility of parole.
Yeah.
So that way he would just rot in prison. Basically, why they didn't have the death penalty.
Sure. So so that's off the table. He's really either if he were to plead guilty and just go to prison for life, that would be it.
If I remember correctly, there was a plea deal. The prosecution rejected it.
Oh yeah.
There you go. You go. So he's like, okay, well, what choice do I have? I might as well go to trial.
Yeah. Because the prosecution knew that they had him. I mean, like, again, it's on video.
He probably has no money, so therefore, his counsel is provided without any cost to himself. And I mean, I feel like sometimes these defendants they see it as, well, why not?
Yeah,
I might as well. And then he gets his chance to talk as well. So why not?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. And I find it like, I mean, in a situation like this, when usually, as far as I'm concerned, there is a sliver of a chance of a reasonable doubt, and I will absolutely give every opportunity, and as David says, they need to the state needs to bend over backwards to convince me. There's no doubt that he absolutely did this. He's not even trying to say that he didn't do it. So yeah, I feel it's just a bit sad for everyone involved that they have to be there and go through all this. So yeah, just for maybe the chance of him having parole at some point. Yeah, but let's continue to hear what he has to say.
So you had some problems getting over there just as far as being turned around and lost for a little while. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where did the beer come from that you ended up walking into the hospital with?
I put into like I said, I needed gas, so I put into the 7-Eleven. I walked inside the store and I was like, man, I'm just finna head home. I can't find the hospital, I'm about to head home. So I bought me a Steel Reserve. I walked to the counter. It was a due behind counter. I paid for it. And I asked him, I was like, hey, do you know where Methodist Hospital is at? He said no. The lady that was working with him, she was like, I don't know either, but I think it's on Colorado. And I was like, yeah, I can't find it. She's like, I really don't know where it's at. I was like, okay. So I walked out. I proceeded to pump gas. A dude walks up behind me. And he's like, hey, Methodist Hospital's 5 minutes away from me. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, it's fine. If you just drive down here, you make a right, it's right there. And I was like, okay, man, appreciate it. Thank you, man. So I hopped in the truck and I drove and I arrived at the hospital.
So you get to the hospital that morning. You know what time it was?
I really don't. I didn't pay attention to the time.
All right, so you get to the hospital and you're telling the jury that when you get there, you thought you were getting there to go over and sign the birth certificate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you in a good mood or were you in a bad mood? What kind of mood were you in at that time?
No, I was good. I wasn't. I just was about to sign the birth certificate, put that last name on it.
And
so
tell the jury what happened once you got
I'm failing to
inside
put
that
in the
room
meth
and
here
saw
somewhere.
that changed the whole situation. Did you tell them what took place?
Okay, when I walked in, my son, he was asleep in the bassinet. I went in there, brother's bed, like, hey, little man, and so I walked into the restroom, I used the restroom, I walked out. I proceeded to walk out. I started looking for the gun, right? I started looking for the gun. She was like, what you looking for? I said, the gun. And she's like, why? And I said, I got it sold. I said, I talked to dude last night. He wanted to buy it. And so she's like, all right. So I'm on my phone also, you know what I'm saying? Like she said, she said sentimental. I don't want to sound sentimental. I'm more expressionate or something. I like telling people that, I love them and stuff. And I'll drink a little bit or do some drugs. And hey, man, I love you, man. I like that. You got the aggressive people and then you got the lovers, I guess, over there. And so,
so when you're sitting there having this conversation, could you tell the jury what it was that made her start pulling the blanket over her head and refusing to talk to you?
I don't recall her putting the blanket over her head.
You don't recall her pulling the blanket over her head?
No.
What do you recall happening when you were having this conversation with her?
I ended up sitting down and I was like, man, get the gun and stuff. And so
thank you, Nick.
I was like, so I'm about to sign the birth certificate and leave. And so I'm texting my brother. My brother called me and I talked to him briefly, my nieces and stuff. We started talking. She tried to talk to me. I was like, shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. And she's like, oh no, she started. She's like, man, you drinking and woo. And I was like, man, I don't want to. I was like, I ain't been drinking like that. And she's like, no, you drinking? Woo. And I was like, man, shut up. I was like, why don't you talk to me? She was like, nah, you're not supposed to be in here drinking. Woo. I was like, don't nobody even know this is a beer. And it looks like a Arizona or something. And she's like, nah, man. She's like, man, they're gonna come in here and see you, whatever. And so I was like, bro, I don't even talk to me, bro. I said, hey, you really nasty. And she was like, what you mean nasty? I said, yeah, you really nasty. You know what I'm saying? She was like, and I said, man,
He's calling her nasty. He just gave birth to his child.
That's your voice is dropping.
Wow.
Keep it up so the jury can hear you.
I'm like, man, my private areas is really fucked up. And so she's like, man, she's like, nah, man, she's like, I ain't fucking nobody, and da da da. And so she gets on her phone.
I'm surprised the
I'm
judge
I'm
hasn't
like, yeah,
said
you
something
need to
yet.
tell whoever you've been fucking with.
No, I think he's gonna leave it.
And what are you talking about?
I never had an STD before that. So I mean, I knew it was something wrong. I didn't know exactly what it was.
Why was it you knew something wrong?
When I urinate, when I urinate, it hurts. Yeah.
So so you're talking about her messing with somebody else.
Maybe he had a
she needs to
UTI.
tell people that you probably giving them STDs too.
Yeah, I'm like, because she ended up getting on the phone. I was like, you need to be calling them people and let them know you passing out that shit. Okay.
Yeah, what happened as a result of this conversation?
You said what happened to the
Tell me what happened next after y'all are having this conversation.
Oops. Yeah.
And stuff.
I'm so sorry. Can you guys?
You were at 341 or 342.
How did you know that?
I was setting up mine to try and take over if needed.
Actually, now would be a fantastic time.
Okay.
If you could. Yep. Could you, please? That would be wonderful. Awesome.
Seriously?
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, forget it. We'll have to use yours.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, now mine.
Now is this working? That's all right. We can go back to mine.
Yeah, use yours. 343-ish.
333? Yeah. Good.
You know, this is a beer. You know, it looks like a Arizona or something.
Oh, maybe 341.
She's like, nah, man. Sure. She's like, man, we got the aggressive people and we got the lovers, I guess.
And excuse me for a moment, I have to check my child has gotten out of bed.
So when you're sitting there having this conversation, could you tell the jury what it was that made her start pulling the blanket over her head and refusing to talk to you?
I don't recall her putting the blanket over her head.
You don't recall her pulling the blanket over her head?
No.
What do you recall happening when you were having this conversation with her?
I ended up sitting down and I was like, man, get the gun and stuff. And so I was like, so I'm about to sign the birth certificate to leave. And so I'm texting my brother. My brother called me and I talked to him briefly, my nieces and stuff. We started talking. She tried to talk to me. I was like, shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Ooh.
Rude.
And she's like, oh no, she started, she's like, man, you drinking? And I was like, man, I don't want to live. I was like, I ain't been drinking like that. And she's like, nah, you drinking? And I was like, man, shut up. I was like, why don't you talk to me? She was like, nah, you're not supposed to be in here drinking. I was like, don't nobody even know this is a beer. You know? It looks like a Arizona or something. And she's like, nah, man. She's like, man, they're going to come in here and see you, whatever. And so I was like, bro, I don't even talk to me, bro. I said, hey.
Oh,
really
he's
nasty.
helping himself.
And she was like, what you mean nasty? I said, yeah, you really nasty.
Right into prison.
I said, man, my shit hurt. Well, I'm just signing the birth certificate and up there, else, man.
Just your voice is dropping a little bit. Keep it up so the jury
can. I'm like, man, it's, you know, my private areas is really fucked up. And so she's like,
no, that's the thing.
She's like,
the gun,
she's like, nah, man.
it didn't seem like there was a goal.
No. And so she gets on her phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, you need to tell whoever you've been fucking with that you got that shit, you passing out that shit. And
what are you talking about?
I never had an STD before that. So I mean, I knew it was something wrong. I didn't know exactly what it was.
Why was it you knew something wrong?
When I urinate, it hurts. Yeah.
So you're talking about her messing with somebody else, telling her that she needs
whoops,
to tell
we
people that she's probably
we
giving
went
them
back too far.
STDs too.
Yeah, it's all right. We're here now.
She didn't get on
Yeah, we're in the right spot now.
be calling people and let them know you passing out that shit.
Okay, what happened as a result of this conversation?
You said what happened to the
Yeah, tell me what happened next after y'all are having this conversation.
The nurse, she walks in.
That's
So
actually
she walks
funny
in,
about the
and,
medical records.
Selena, she gets up and she's like, hey, I need to use the restroom. So when she gets up, I get up with her.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Oh, sorry, I'm saying
Prior
shush
to
to my
any
kitty
of this
cat.
happening, right? Now you're talking about, have there been another nurse in there earlier that day that had come in and been there for a few minutes and then left? You recall that?
No, sir.
Okay, so when you're talking about right now, you're talking about a nurse came in, and that's when Selena wanted to go to the restroom. Are you talking about the woman that ended up getting shot?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you guys were having this conversation, it's going on. Up to that point in time, had you ever threatened that you were gonna kill Selena or kill yourself?
No, sir. No, sir.
Did you ever threaten to Selena that you were gonna kill anybody coming in that room?
No.
Did you have any intention of harming anybody?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Tell the jury what happened, and you just described how you got to the point where the nurse came in the room. Selena wants to go to the restroom. Tell the jury what happened next.
Well, she gets up when I get up with her, and she's walking. No, when the nurse came in, she said, good afternoon or good evening, and I said it back. And Selena gets up and she's like, I need to use the restroom. She had told the nurse, I need to use the restroom, but I got up with her, and so I was like, why you need to go to the restroom with your phone? And she's like, because and then the nurse asked her, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, everything's okay. And then she said, no, it's not. She was like, I don't want him here. This ain't even his baby. So I slapped her. So when I slapped her, the nurse was like, oh. And so then Selena hit me and we got into like, whenever I got up, I had the pistol on me too. You know what I'm saying? She ended up before that, well, Selena had handed me the pistol. And so I had the pistol right here. It's a little pistol. So when I got up holding it too. And she hit me. And so, I kind of like, I had the pistol in my hand. I don't think the nurse knew I had the pistol in my hand. And so we got into like a little brawl with her. And that's when I hit her. I ended up hitting her with the pistol. And that's when the nurse, she's like, stop. She got in between us. And my shirt, that black shirt that I had on, it was already kind of like over. It was already like, cause she was like putting on the shirt too. And so the gun went off. That's what.
Who was pulling on your shirt?
Selena.
Okay. So you're wearing the shirt, and while you guys get into the tussle with the nurse there, she's pulling on your shirt, and you're saying it's kind of bunched up now around your shoulder area?
Yeah, the shirt she was putting on, I had a black thermal shirt on.
Okay. And then you said the gun went off. Describe exactly what you mean when you say the gun went off. How did it go off?
The nurse tried to stop the fight. She got in between us, and she yelled stop. She's like, stop. And next you know, the gun went off. And we stopped. Everything slowed down. I was kind of confused for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing that Selena said, she was like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "No, man, it's your fault. This is your fault." You know what I'm saying? Because the nurse was kind of leaning forward, and then she ended up falling back.
Did you intentionally shoot this nurse or?
No.
Okay, how did she tell? Explain to the jury how it was that this nurse ended up shot.
She got in between us. Whenever me and Selena got into like a tussle, she got in between us. She yelled stop and tried to stop us.
Well, I believe
Did you point the gun at her with any intention of shooting the gun and killing her?
No, sir.
Did you have any intention of causing harm to this nurse?
No, sir.
And you said that once you shot her, she was just kind of you said she was kind of standing there and you looked like you were crouching a little bit. What are you just trying to describe for the jury?
She leaned forward like this. She leaned forward like this, and then she leaned. It all happened so slow. It went real slow, and then she just ended up falling back.
She was leaning forward and then she ended up falling back?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's the next thing that you recall happening at that time?
I panicked. I was like, shit. And Selena, she started screaming. She's like, oh, man. I couldn't even understand what she was saying. And I opened up the door, and shot. I opened up the door with my right hand. I opened up the door and I shot out the door. Boom, boom, twice. I shot the door twice.
Did you see anybody outside the door when you shot?
No, I didn't even look outside. I just shot.
What was the purpose of that?
I was so panicked. I just shot somebody. You know what I mean? I was real panicked. It's like how can I say this? Like a example would be like if my mom or like somebody's mom has like a favorite coffee mug that she drinks coffee with every morning, and you drop it and you break it. And when you broke it, you panic. You're like, oh, and your mom was like, hey, what was that? And so you don't want her to see. You know what I mean? Like you don't want her to see. You just panic and I try to like, I guess make another distraction or something. I wasn't just really just. I wasn't thinking right. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, you're muted. EU.
Sorry, there's some construction going on out there.
Okay.
Yeah, he compared it to dropping your mother's coffee cup
Mm-hmm. But if I
and it
remember,
breaking and
yeah.
feeling bad about that and panicking.
But if I remember right, though, the girlfriend explained the situation differently. She said that he was going to kill the next person who walked into the room after he shot the nurse, which is then what he just described as opening the door and taking 2 shots. So those are very
Yes.
different things that they
Yes.
described. And like,
Yes.
yeah. So
That's
she was,
exactly what she said.
yeah, she was much more clearly believable, even though she was convicted of crimes and stuff too in the past, but like she was
Doesn't
much more
matter.
believable than he is. Like,
Regardless.
yeah.
Yeah. She was the lady in the hospital bed who just given birth to a child. And yeah, she saw 2 people being unalived in front of her. We saw or heard all of these screams, blood, etc. We saw him walking into that hospital wielding
Mhm.
the firearm.
Yeah. And
Come on
Paige,
now.
yeah, and Paige actually, yeah, I forgot about that he was telling Selena to push the button to get a nurse to come in, and they finally that's when the social worker came in when he opened the door and shot her in the face. And
Yeah.
then, so yeah, it was just, yeah, it's just kind of a big mess
This is just so
for
silly.
letting him in the room. I mean,
Yeah.
potentially.
And okay, he is just playing this down in such a despicable way.
Yes, he shot the social worker in the face, if I recall correctly.
This, I wonder if the mum could sue the hospital for letting him in the room. I don't think so. He's the dad. Like that, and also the hospital workers, they just did so much. Like they all just reacted in such a heroic way.
Yeah.
And I think they just did all they could. So no, I don't really think so.
Yeah.
John, it's a fair question, but I don't really think so.
Oh, it was the back of the head, not the face. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
I knew it was the head of some. I just wasn't sure.
After you opened the door and you fired the gun, did you actually see the second nurse in the hallway at that time?
No, I didn't even see the second nurse in the hallway.
So tell the jury what happened after you shot that firearm out the door.
So I went back, the nurse laying on the floor, seeing she's screaming. She's like, "Oh my gosh!" And so it's all hectic. I'm kind of panicking. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I'm like shit. And so Selena, she said, "Get him." And so I turned around. When I turned around, I walked out the door. I tried to walk out the door. I felt the heat just to my legs. Boom. And I stepped back. I jumped back into the room.
Okay.
I looked down and I was like, they shot me. I was like, damn, they shot me. You know what I'm saying? And so I went back into the room and I called my mom and she answered the phone and she was like, yeah. And I was like, hey man, I just shot somebody, man. I just killed
Exactly,
somebody, man.
Luna.
She's laying on the floor. And she's like, what? And then she's like, tell me you're playing. I was like, no, I'm not. And so I hung up the phone. I called my little brother. And he's like, hey. And I was like, hey, man, I'm shot. And he's like, what? And I was like, man, I'm shot. They're about to come in and shoot. They're about to kill me, man. And then he's like, what? He's like, I don't understand. He's like, hey. I was like, man, they're going to kill me, man. I was like, they're going to kill me. They already shot me. And so by now, Selena has the baby. She had grabbed the baby at this time. And she's holding the baby. And I'm like, hey, give me the baby. And she's like, no. And I'm like, give me the baby, man. I was like, man, give me the baby, man. Give me the baby. Put him in the crib. Because the crib, the bassinet, is by the restroom. And so I'm thinking, I was like, man, they're about to come in here and start shooting, man. They're about to shoot us. And she's like, no.
What was you asking her to give the baby for?
I wanted to put him in the bassinet and put him by the restroom because I was like, man, they about to come in. They already shot me. They about to come here and start shooting.
What happened?
Wait. Is he
I
trying to
started feeling the pain. At first, I didn't feel the pain, but now I'm feeling it. I'm like,
What was that sound?
Was he trying to use the child as a shield?
No, he was saying he was going to put from what I remember the video, so like on the right side of the room is the door that goes into the hallway.
Yeah.
On the
Right.
left side, there's the restroom. And so like what he's saying is that he wanted to put the baby in the bassinet and get it into the restroom so the cops don't come in and kill the kid. My guess, what he was actually going to do is that he was going to use the baby as a shield.
Yeah.
Like that is what I would have more likely to have expected. But she wasn't letting the baby go.
Okay.
So,
because she was nursing, wasn't she, at the time?
yes, she was nursing at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
As we saw from the first date one. Yeah.
So he was pretending to protect the baby, whereas really, baby was fine. Baby was with the mother.
I think he has great father instincts.
And these father instincts, yeah.
Yeah. Maternal instinct.
He's saying one thing, and
Anyways,
his first instinct was to get it. Yeah, cool. Wow.
And so I went around the bed. I don't know if I sat down in the closet or I sat down in the front of the closet. And I was like, shit. And Selena's like, she's steady screaming. And she's like, what the fuck? This and that. She right there. I was like, man, shut up. I was like, shut up. So I'm like, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, I said, man, I'm about to just go out there. I'm just let them kill me, man. I said, she's like, what? I was like, I'm not going back. And I was like, I'm not finna spend the rest of my life in jail. And she's like, what? I was like, man, I'm finna just let them kill me, man. They already shot me. And she started screaming. She screamed my name. She said, Nestor. And then she held up my son, and she was like, he needs you. And I was like, man, shit, man. I was like, nah, man. I was like, nah, I can't go back.
Imagine having sex with a man named Nestor.
I try to get up. And so when I try to get up, before that, I hear the officer. He said something. I couldn't understand what he said. And I'm like, I can't hear you because she's screaming. My little brother was still on the phone. And he's like, Nestor. He's like, Nestor, hey, man, don't hurt the baby. And I was like, nah. And so I'm like, man, I'm finna just go out there, I'm finna kill me. So Selena, she was like, no. And so when she said no, I tried to get up. When I tried to get up, it was kind of hard to get up. So I'm trying to get up. And I was like, I'm shot. And she didn't know I was shot at the time, but now she didn't think because she put my baby down. She's like, you're shot. And I was like, I'm shot, man. I'm already shot. And so I was like, man, I'm finna just go out there, man. I was like, man, because in my mind, I thought it's like 15 cops out there ready.
There's more than that.
They gonna kill you.
Where was the gun at this point in time, Nestor?
I still had it in my hand.
A cop shot him.
How did that gun subsequently end up out in the hallway?
She was telling me not to go out there. She's like, no. She's like, don't go out there. She's like, wait. I was like, my finger. She's like, why are you going to do this? And I'm like, man, I don't want to go back to jail, bro. I ain't trying to go back to prison. I already spent most of my youth in there. And she's like, man, he needs you. And so she's like, he needs you. And I was like, all right, man, all right. And after that, I fell. That's from what I remember. I fell, and that was it. I blanked out. The rest of the stuff that on the video, me being in the hallway, and you know, I didn't even know I had said she cheated on me. I also said, I heard myself say, call my mom. And I screamed out my brother's name too.
Call my mom?
But other than that, I don't remember nothing else. I don't remember nothing else. I woke up at Baylor Hospital like 2 days later, and that's when I learned that Miss Flowers was also. I didn't even know she was dead.
Did you, Katie, you said that you woke up in the hospital and you found out at that point in time that 2 people had died as a result of this incident, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And one of those being Miss Jacqueline Pokuaa that had come into the room originally, as well as Katie Flowers, who was the nurse that was injured when you discharged that weapon out into the hallway. You understand that now?
Yes, sir.
And until we actually showed you videos, your memory as to exactly what took place in regards to the exact timing was a little bit off, wasn't it?
Excuse me?
You that reminded you, or that brought back to light some of the things that had occurred.
Oh, on the video? Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So you talked about it, and again, Nestor, what you talked.
Is that your hospital, Luna? Like you work here?
Yeah, I thought Luna was in Texas.
She is.
Wow.
I don't.
Okay.
She mentioned something about it earlier. I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'll have to talk with you if it is.
Yeah.
She said that's her hospital.
Yeah. It'd be so cool if you could come on the panel, maybe.
Oh no, she
on,
works at a different one.
Okay.
Oh, okay. But similar in the area.
Yeah.
Like nearby or something.
No, why not? She said it, Val. No, why not?
No, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to dox her. Sorry, Luna.
I'm not doing anything
you mean the area, Luna.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, we wouldn't do that, Val.
You know, Dallas only has like 10 people in it. I mean, we know that.
Yeah, of course. No, it's only got. It's smaller than Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we wouldn't do that. But if she wanted to come on the panel, we would have her.
Yeah.
No photo up if she wanted to. But yeah, always her choice. Very interesting.
Told the jury is you did not intentionally, knowingly kill these ladies, did you?
No, I would never do that.
No.
And you understand that as you sit here and you offer this explanation to the jury, they have to decide whether or not to believe any of your testimony. Understand that?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell them why it is that you believe that your testimony today is worthy of belief?
Because it's the truth, you know. It's just what happened. I'm not gonna sit here and hide and try to say that I'm innocent. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not.
But you understand that, and we've explained to you, there's a difference between shooting and killing somebody knowingly or intentionally, or causing their death by your reckless action.
Armed robbery was one of them.
And you fully take responsibility for that.
I never intended to kill nobody, harm nobody.
Yeah, because him and Selena were both charged
You
with
did
it.
take full responsibility for causing their deaths.
Yes, I do. I do take responsibility.
And next you said you woke up in the hospital 2 days later. Can you tell the jury how long you were in the hospital?
I want to say I was in the hospital like 4 days. About 4 days in the hospital.
And subsequent to that, you were taken into custody of Dallas County Sheriff's Department. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Salvador.
I'm not.
Mr. I want to ask you one thing. You made references.
Okay. That wasn't me commenting that.
No.
I called somebody. I mean, I texted.
I'm really trying.
I text somebody, or I called them. are you even sure about these little snippets of conversation that you were having? Do you remember for sure if they were all, one of them was a particular text, or may it have been just a particular phone call that you were going back and forth with?
I know I called somebody.
No, I know you called somebody, but I think when you were describing for the jury earlier, you said, well, I called them, and not texted, talking about your brother. So you recall specifically everything that was said or done. Do you specifically recall, or can you even possibly recall whether those were actual text or phone calls that you were having?
Not all of them, not all of them. Some of them, I know it was messages and calls. You know, it was messages and calls.
That's right. I believe that's all the questions I have for you, sir. Because we passed the list.
Here we go.
Do you have the timestamps down before we get too far in?
I'm sorry? Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know what? We are going to have to swap to Dali doing the video.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you were also convicted on that same day for burglary application. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
Just one moment, guys. Dali, is your video working?
I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah.
Cool. Reason being, at some point, I'm going to have to take my child to school. And if there's going to be stopping and starting, that is going to have to be Dali.
Yeah, there's I can't remember how many there were, but there's multiple places that have to get stopped for, because.
Oh, is there?
Oh yeah, there's I think there's 3 of them, if I remember right.
Okay.
So it's the same videos that we watched in day 1, like.
Right, I see.
Yeah, it's the same videos, but he just
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's working. Yeah.
The ID card, magazine, and the.
Have there been another nurse in there earlier that day that had come in and been?
I was at
what time?
3:59. 3:59 exactly.
Hoping the audio works because I don't have a booster on this browser.
That's right. I believe that's all the questions I have.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Let's go back and first of all talk about your criminal history because you left out some of it. You know, right?
Wonderful. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You talked about how you were convicted of robbery in 2012.
Thank you for that.
You were sentenced to 2 years.
See, this is why we co-host.
Okay, you were also convicted
Help each
on the
other.
same day for burglary application. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you were also convicted of unlawful possession of a firearm on that same day, correct?
Yes, sir.
High five.
You were also convicted of possession of.
There you go, buddy.
So slow.
Yes, sir.
Too slow. Down low.
You're on the other side of the world. It takes a minute.
Yes, sir.
Oh, quiet now.
No, but on the indictment, when it shows the enhancements, it says robbery on there. That's the main enhancement that they use to enhance an indictment. So it's robbery. It's the main thing that stands out on the indictment.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about the other offenses. I understand about the robbery. What about the burglary, the possession of the firearm, and heroin? You got to mention those as far as your conviction?
No, I didn't forget to mention them, but that's the main. That was the robbery. It outrules the rest of the charges, basically.
Okay,
From my understanding.
Okay, but you admitted to being convicted of all those offenses in 2012, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So fast forward to 2015, you were convicted of aggravated robbery and sentenced to the 8-year term, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you were also convicted around that time for another burglary application, correct?
Yes, sir.
As well as a theft. Is that correct?
Theft by check, yes.
Okay. All right, and so you've already said you were open about you being on parole, correct?
Yes, sir.
You had several violations of your parole while you were on parole, is that correct?
Just quick proceed.
Yes, you
I think the reason that they could get it all in is because he talked about it.
You can impeach the credibility of a witness, so once he takes the stand.
But I think his prior acts, right, like that's typically not going to all be let in, but he was the one who talked about it, not, like he was the one who brought it up. Like him and his attorney brought it up.
Yeah.
So because they brought it up, they opened the door.
Yeah. Dude, get your arm off his shoulder. That's creepy. Build.
In the presence of the jury, they listened to the question to you.
See, this one's more active than the other one.
Yeah.
During the pre-trial, we filed pre-trial motions, one of which was a request for a notice of any intentions to use any 404B materials before the jury, and yet requesting that before anything was mentioned in front of the jury, that we have a sub rosa hearing so that the court could hear that the particulars of the matter that they were intending to inquire upon and give us an opportunity to object. And the court granted that motion. When we passed the witness, the state went in and rightfully went in and questioned him concerning other felony convictions that he had, which is certainly legal and admissible for purposes of impeaching his credibility on the witness stand. And then the fact that he was on parole, it was elicited. It was before the jury, and obviously that the fact that he was on parole was in front of the jury. The state then seeks now and did so in front of this jury panel without requesting or giving us the right to our sub rosa hearing, went immediately into prior parole violations that would not constitute criminal convictions under purposes of the statute allowing impeachment of credibility based upon prior felony convictions or prior misdemeanor convictions involving moral turpitude. That's impermissible. They're not allowed to do that, Your Honor. They're not allowed to go in and use any parole violation in and of itself to go in at this stage of a trial to attack credibility. It's only admissible on the issue.
She's just like, are you serious?
It's not permissible at all at this stage of the trial, Your Honor. So we object based upon the states going into it, that number one, they did it in violation of the court's ruling and granting our request for a hearing outside the presence before they brought it up. They didn't do that. We're going to move. I'll pull the court down. We'll do it timely in front of the jury, but we intend to move for a mistrial based on that. Oh. Secondly, we believe it's wholly improper for the court to allow them to go in and seek to attack the witness's credibility based upon actions that are not convictions, which is what the law allows. And there's no exception for, well, because of the fact that he's on parole, you can go in and talk about it. The law does not allow that. We're going to object to that.
Thank you. What's the state's position?
The state's response, Your Honor, is that the defendant is already admitted on the stand and under oath for questions from his attorney that he has, while on parole, possessed a firearm, that he committed taking drugs and to drinking alcohol, which are all violations of his parole. If the court would like, once the jury's back in here, I will make it very clear that I'll ask him one by one. You do understand that when you're released on parole, that each of these actions was a violation of your parole. So from that standpoint, Judge, based upon the testimony that the defense attorney has elicited.
Why are you making an appellate issue out of this?
To say that these are violations of parole, which the jury has already heard.
Judge, I don't know that I have an objection to that as a plaintiff, but I've also been given through the discovery process other violations of parole. And the court was just about allowing the carte blanche to go into that. The possession of a firearm, the use of amphetamine, and the fact that he'd been drinking, those are res gestae of the instant offense, Judge. Those were brought out throughout their case in chief. We confirmed it, but that does not open the door to a wider inquiry as to other parole violations that we're aware of. And the state got up there and the court was about to just give them carte blanche to say, you brought up the fact that he's on parole, so we're going to allow it. We certainly object to that, Your Honor.
So at this time, we'll just base it on the violations that he testified to, Judge, and we'll waive any other violations at this time.
Okay.
And we still intend to move for a mistrial, Judge. In fact, due to the fact that we were not afforded our sub rosa hearing as the court granted us in pre-trial.
That's denied.
Your Honor, would the court consider my request for a mistrial outside the presence of the jury to be timely, as same as if it was made in the presence of the jury.
Yes.
Thank you.
Judge, can we have like 2 minutes? Is that okay? Just to,
That's fine.
okay.
I wonder what the difference is about asking in front of a jury. I need to ask Dave.
Asking one.
They said he wanted the mistrial request to be considered the same as asking in front of the jury.
Right.
And I'm not sure
I don't know. Can't see why
um,
that'd be a mistrial.
No, but I mean, he specifically made it sound like there's a difference asking for it in front of a jury versus
No.
not.
Okay, right.
The prosecutor
Yeah.
started going into parole violations.
Oh, I see. Right. Mhm. Yep.
So
Because asking for it to be on the record. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's on the record, isn't it, though?
That's
I thought
what
everything was on the
thought,
record.
but
Yeah.
maybe it's a Texas thing. But
Possibly. Don't know.
okay, yeah, Paige.
With his attorney, the state's presence, we are still outside the presence of the jury. Now, the defense had raised an objection to the state questioning the defendant regarding parole violations under Rule 609.
Well, it's impermissible of 609, but it's violent to 404B.
All right. I'm assuming that the state gave 404B notice of all of these violations. Is that right?
We did,
Okay. So we're talking about Rule 609, and I'm sustaining the defendant's objection regarding the state questioning the defendant going forward.
It's a very white name, I think.
Regarding any parole violation. However,
Really?
the defendant did open the door to the fact that he was on parole. Okay?
Right?
And he did, and that information is before the jury, just so we would ask at this time that since that information is before the jury, I don't believe it's proper for the state to use it as the fact that it was a parole
That's how I thought they were
violation
getting it
to
in.
impeach his credibility, which is what they're trying to do. This is a separate issue from showing just a bad act and actions in conformity with bad act. That's what they're trying to use both of them. So is the court saying that we're going to move forward from this issue and not touch on it?
We're going to move forward from this issue, and I'm instructing the state not to go further into any parole violations without approaching the court first.
So just so I'm clear, Your Honor, when the jury comes back in, you know, he's admitted to several violations, including consuming alcohol, drugs, and possessing a firearm. I can no longer ask him about that, and specifically as it pertains to him having knowledge of all these things being violations of his parole based on paperwork that he signed when he was placed on parole.
Well, you can ask him about the violations, but not as concerning parole, because this is
They didn't
not
need it.
a parole revocation here where that's relevant.
So you say I can ask him about there being violations of what? The law?
Yes, exactly.
Well, Judge, they're not violent. None of that conduct's a violation of the law. So
Well, that.
in and of itself.
Well, let me say this. The defendant opened the door.
We opened the door.
Let me finish, stating that he's on parole. He was on parole.
Yes.
I don't know if he's still on parole. He was on parole. He was convicted of, these other felonies.
Right.
Okay, and here we are in this proceeding. This is a different proceeding than a parole violation proceeding.
Right.
So what I'm asking the state not to do is to go into parole violations. As the defense stated, those are not convictions.
Can we come at it from, can we maybe allow to come at it, just explain our view?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You look at 609.
No, I understand, okay, but that's not where we're coming from.
You don't need
Explain
this.
it to me.
So where we're coming from, it's just like, if you put somebody on probation and you tell them don't do certain things and they sign it, they made a contract, they're not gonna do certain things. And when you get on parole, you do the same thing. And he has it, let's finish. he has admitted that he's on parole. We have his parole papers here, we should be honest with you, okay?
Correct.
And he has told the state of Texas that he wasn't gonna do certain things, okay, which goes to his credibility.
Yeah.
And every day that he did those things is an impact on his credibility that should be known by the jury. He said he's on parole. Everybody knows that common sense, you have parole conditions. Okay, and that's the only reason. We're not he's already introduced the bad, that himself. We're not interested in that. This is merely a question of credibility, not a bad act. He put that out. We don't even need to deal with that because they put it on. This is about credibility. That's what we say.
Right, now, Mr. Johnson, are there any other violations that you're asking the defense not to elicit from
The
the
state.
I'm sorry, the state not to elicit from the,
Yeah, the court.
other than the ones that you
Really,
raised?
Paige?
Well, they've already agreed that they're not even going to try to do, they're not going to go into anything. The only thing that we need delineated is the precise measure of the court's ruling, which I believe when you came out took the bench, you made the correct and proper ruling and stated that we're no longer going to address anything in regards to any conduct being a parole violation. And I would refer to the court, Mr. Crusoe's in here saying that this is some kind of a contract to do what you're supposed to do. 609 does not allow that in any fashion. It'd just be like, man, well, he didn't pay his credit card bill. He promised that he would if they gave him the money. Those are outside the scope and purview of 609. They're not admissible. He's already admitted to the conduct of being on parole. He's admitted to having a weapon, drinking, and using drugs. But to case those incidences in terms of parole violations is an attempt to circumvent 609's prohibition against using 404B material to impeach credibility, which is what the court ruled immediately. So we're saying that I would submit, Your Honor, that with this case and the status of this case is the way it is, we're dancing on an eggshell here to try to sit there and push the button on our move.
Sorry.
Hi, just letting everybody know, I am popping out for 10 minutes because I have to take my child to school. Here, it is Thursday morning at 8:15 a.m. So, yeah, you will be in awesome hands just for a few minutes while I go do that. Back soon.
Cool. Toodles.
Evidentiary law here, I think it's pretty clear they can't do it. We're asking the court to enforce your ruling that they can't do it.
If I may, we are in agreement that a general question about anything other than what he brought up, which is the way he started this, acknowledging what he brought up, we're in agreement that we shouldn't go into whatever else is ever else, other than what he has brought up. He brought it up in here. I don't think we're dancing on any eggshell at all, except the eggshell of the truth. That's the eggshell we're dancing on. And he has made his own statements. He's put it in evidence that he's on parole and he's doing these things. And he has put his credibility by taking a stand in question. And that's the only reason, honestly, Judge, it's not it's not a bad act. It's credibility.
And 609?
That he doesn't have anything to do with credit cards. I'm talking about credit cards.
It's talking about parole violations.
He swore that he was going to do certain things, and he has admitted that he didn't do them.
Good, but that 609 doesn't say anything about contract violations and promises to do right. It talks about.
That's our position.
All right.
Why is that?
Again, I'm stating the defendant's objection. The state is not going to vote parole violations.
And again, we're going to renew our motion for a mistrial at this time based upon the 404B violation that the court granted to the defense regarding these matters not being brought up outside in front of the jury without having a prior hearing.
That's denied. That's when the jury.
I mean, you just gave 2 mistrial appellate issues. You don't have to fight to discredit this witness. He's a scumbag, let's face it. I'm not saying he doesn't get a fair trial, but this isn't a whodunit.
Yeah. It's a weird circumstance because it's not often that you hear like the defense is literally saying like, just don't give him capital murder.
Yeah.
Like, we know he did it. Like, if we all admit that.
Yeah.
He just didn't intend to do it. It's not
I mean, they're just trying to go for parole, potential for parole.
Yeah. It's really messed up. But it's, if I remember right, once he gets back going again, like it goes pretty quick. And I know some of it's the video stuff. That's why the references, and like he hammers them back to back to back.
Yeah, there's like
at the end.
Minutes.
Yeah. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Is on this stand. The jurors are present and seated. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. I know we took a longer break than we anticipated, but we were working hard during your break. Is the state ready to continue with cross-examination of the defendant?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. Hernandez, before the break, you indicated that you were on parole at the time of the killings, correct?
Yes, sir.
It also indicated that you had used methamphetamines, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How many times have you used methamphetamines while you were?
That is irrelevant into this conversation. It's not, this is not race justified. The offense was already been established as going into 404B materials. And like we're going to object to it based on violating 404B. And secondly, that it's violated the Rule 609.
Judge, again, the defendant has admitted himself on a questioning from the defense counsel that he used methamphetamines. My question is, how many times?
And that's a 404B prior bad act. It has no relevance other than the race justified this offense, and we objected. I thought we just had a hearing on that. The court sustained the objection.
That was a separate issue. Your objections, go ahead.
Okay, you are, just so that the record is clear. Our objection is this is 404B, and we also make an objection that the prejudicial impact of any of this material is grossly outweighed by, or underweighed by the inappropriate value that this would have to the instant offense.
Thank you. That's denied.
This is so absurd.
And how often do you use methamphetamine?
Again, I'm not to object every time the question is asked. It's improper. This is improper.
All right, I'll give you a running objection. Thank you.
Good on the defense, though.
So, David, you pause for a second, Sal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have control. Sorry.
So, David, this is a real simple case. So, dude here got out of prison, and his wife, or not his wife, his girlfriend was in the hospital, had just given birth.
Baby mom.
He goes to the hospital with a beer and a gun, apparently, that he put in her bag the night before. So gets there, he starts beating up on his girl, baby mama, whatever. Ends up shooting a nurse on accident. Then he goes, as he says it, opens the door and fires two shots into the hallway for no apparent reason other than cool, bro. And then his defense's opening is, please don't just give him capital murder. Yeah. Like, there's body cam footage of this whole thing. There's camera angles of this whole thing. Like, he did it. Yeah. It's just, how guilty is he, basically? So, that is what they're going over now, really.
Yeah, salt of the earth.
Yeah.
Really classy guy.
Yeah, real classy.
Yeah.
I didn't use that part to that. I was.
Well, no, it was a C-section, but apart from that, everything.
Well,
said is, right.
C-section. There was a baby that got born somehow.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's right. I forgot the VD that he accused her of giving him.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the dude who shot up the hospital. Yeah.
Only out 3 weeks.
This is Cross.
So after you got out, you abused them?
Excuse me?
After you got out, you abused them? You said you only been out 3 weeks?
Yeah, I was only out 3 weeks. That Thursday was the first time that I had used it.
You said you were out from what?
ISF. I just got out.
Okay, and so after you got out, how many times have you used
That
it?
Thursday.
I'm sorry?
That Thursday.
That Thursday.
October 20th.
Wait. He got out a week before?
Oh, wow.
Is that what he just said?
After you abused them?
Excuse me?
After you got out, you abused them? You said you only been out 3 weeks?
Yeah, I was only out 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
That Thursday was the
3
first time
weeks.
that I had used it.
You said you were out.
Oh, that ain't long.
ISF. I just got out.
Okay.
No, there's been no
there's
argument.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he did it.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is, yeah, I messed up, but I didn't mean to do it. So
Yeah.
only give me first or second degree.
And there's also conflicting stories. So, like, the girlfriend or baby mama, whatever,
Yeah.
she had one story, he had another. So, like, there's conflicting stories, but, like, there's no justification for anything.
And no,
other
it's
than,
not a
sorry,
DV
bro.
case.
Yeah. It's just senseless is what it is.
Yeah.
And so after you got out, how many times have you used
That
it?
Thursday.
I'm sorry?
That Thursday.
That Thursday.
October 20th.
All right, let's talk about this firearm that you admitted that you were in possession of. When did you get the firearm?
I want to say like April. Like, yeah, what, like around April or May, so around that time.
April of 2022?
Yes, sir. 22.
Okay, where did you get the gun from?
I bought it off somebody.
You recall where that was, where you bought the gun?
Well, it is Texas.
Excuse me?
Do you recall where you bought the gun? You said you bought it from somebody?
Yes, sir.
What, do you want a receipt?
What was that?
At a restaurant.
What restaurant?
Guns are us.
Who goes to a restaurant to buy a gun from somebody?
It's so ridiculous.
McDonald's.
I'm sorry?
McDonald's.
Where did you buy it from?
Is that on the dollar menu?
You went to McDonald's to buy a gun. I'm sorry, that just sounds so absurd to me. Did you get it in a Happy Meal?
Yeah. What kind of toy you want? Got a 380 in there.
Ronald McDonald give it to you?
Yeah. And it's still reserved, please.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh my God, it's wow.
Yeah. That's a special boy.
Does it make the relevant? Relevant, John.
Goes right to the top and says you use this gun in his office. Oh.
Yeah.
Did you love it?
Who'd you buy it from?
Somebody, man.
Okay, so you don't want to tell us who you bought it from? Where's this McDonald's located that you, when you bought it?
I ain't no snitch.
Carrollton Farmers Branch area.
How much did you pay for it?
200.
Damn. It is America.
Let's talk about this gun in this bag. You claim that Selena put the gun in the bag, is that correct?
No, I put it.
You put it in the bag.
I put it in the bag.
And so when you brought the bag into the hospital, you knew the gun was in there, correct?
Oh, yeah.
we talked about how Selena didn't want you to take her to the hospital the day before when her water broke. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that she didn't want you to take her because that you were high on drugs?
No, sir.
And you admit that you were high at the hospital that day, correct, when you killed these two women?
I hadn't used that day. I used that Thursday. But that day, though, I didn't use the methamphetamine.
No, I had to be
You were saying that you
responsible.
were not high at the time that you killed these two women?
Maybe, I mean, it was 2 days ago, but I mean, it depends like how much you use and stuff.
How much did you use?
But,
How much did you use?
I sniffed the line.
So you tell us, so you know, were you intoxicated? Were you high that day on methamphetamines when you killed these two women?
No, I wouldn't say I was just high. You know what I mean? Like, but it was more like a come down.
It was more
like that coming down from the drug.
Okay, you weren't high, you were high.
No, I was coming down.
Sir.
And so this tussle with Selena inside the room, you know that Selena was attached to an IV, correct? And there was only so much movement that she could have?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you also know that she had a C-section the day before and that she was pain from the surgery?
Yes, sir.
Okay, with your testimony that y'all had a fight inside that room with her being attached to an IV and her having a C-section and being in pain. That's your testimony?
Yes, sir.
In his defense, it burned when he peed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I say justified.
He does have that going for him. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
and she did just have a baby cut out of her, so she's probably a little tougher than he is, from the way it sounds.
Yeah.
So.
What you want to believe?
Yes, sir. It's not what I want to believe. It's the truth.
Irish.
And so I just want to make clear and make sure that I understand what you're saying, that your testimony is that when you shot and killed Jacqueline Pokuaa, that the gun went off accidentally. Is that what you're telling the jury?
Yeah.
Who was in control of the gun when it went off?
I had it in my hand.
Okay. So I would like for you to set up for us everybody's position when the gun went off, okay? Where
no,
were
she's
you standing in the room when the gun went off?
Luna, so is there like, do you not deliver a baby normally if you have an STD? How does...
Probably depends on what it is, I would assume.
Do they test for it beforehand? I'm curious.
I have no idea, actually.
I was standing by Miss Pokuaa.
Okay, where was Miss Pokuaa standing?
Kind of close to the bed, like.
Oh, so yeah, there you go.
The
so putting the STD, if it can be transmitted via touch in the V region, you'll give the baby the STD. So there you go. So there's your answer.
I'm not sure why David knows that, but thank you very much.
So, yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you can help us with that issue.
Oh, and then Luna said the doctors try not to do V-birth with an STD. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, but like a C-section will.
Well, yeah, because you bypass the V,
okay,
which is ironic because that's what my little letter is.
Yeah.
Like, here's the bed. She's standing right here. I'm standing right here. And Selena standing right here. With Miss Pokuaa between me, like kind of right here.
Okay, and was she facing you, or was she facing away from you?
Who, Miss Pokuaa?
Yes.
No, she was like facing Selena.
Okay. And so her back was to you.
Kind of her side back.
Okay. And so you and Selena are fighting, according to you, correct?
Drive safe.
Excuse me?
You and Selena are fighting, is that correct? At the time that the gun is going?
We argued. We exchanged for a couple words first. Yeah.
And then tell us about how the gun went off.
Wait, are you saying half Irish? This guy might not be faithful? I can't see that.
No. He seems like an upstanding citizen.
Yeah. He seems like a lovely gentleman.
Yeah.
I was holding it. It's a little gun. It's y'all seen it? It's little. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I got up,
it's teeny. It's tiny, like my feet.
It's whittle.
Yeah, it doesn't do that much damage. It ain't gonna unalive no one.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, when I got up, I had my hand on it.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but yeah, I had it right here. So if I walk with it, it'll fall. So when I was walking with it, I was holding it.
You were walking with it when the gun went off?
Yeah, I was like walking, like, because I got off the couch.
Okay.
I was sitting on the couch before that.
All right, was your finger on the trigger?
I don't recall. I don't recall. I remember holding it, but as far as my finger on the trigger, no, I don't recall.
Well, the trigger has to be pulled for it to fire, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so, again, the testimony is you got up off the couch. Where'd you get the gun from inside the room? Did you pull it from the bag? Did you pull it from your pocket? Where'd you get the gun from?
Nah, I told Selena to get it to me, get it for me.
Okay.
She ended up getting it for me. She's like, here, get rid of it.
So the testimony that Selena gave you the gun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so you got up off the couch with the gun in your hand, correct?
Yes, sir.
Jacqueline was inside the room at this
I don't
point?
like this guy.
Did she see that you had a gun, Jacqueline?
I believe.
I don't know. I don't think so. I doubt it.
She just had a C-section. He's like, get that for me.
It's not. It's like I'm holding it, but I kind of got like tucked in. I don't have it out like to where like you can see it, but I got it like this because if I let it go, it's gonna fall down my pants. You see what I'm saying? It's not gonna. I didn't.
Have you considered a belt, sir?
I have it brandished open, like out in the open.
Okay, so explain, where was it? Where was the gun?
Like right here by my hip.
Was it inside your pants or outside your pants?
Kind of, a little bit. I mean, the gun's little, you know what I'm saying? I got it in my hand, and the gun's like this big. So I got it like right here, like kind of tucked in.
Against your dick?
I had a belt on.
Okay. And so how did the gun get to a point where she shot in the back of the head?
Because I had slapped Selena, and she.
I had to slap Selena.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm sure the jury's really buying your side of the story here. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure they're all just rolling their eyes.
He just like, oh, I had to slap my baby mama after she had a C-section one day ago with the newborn in the room. But in my defense, I burned when I peed.
I mean, yeah, it just sounds so crazy what he's describing.
She struck me back, and we got into a little tussle. And I had my shirt, I had the thermal shirt on, and that's whenever she started putting on it, and I started trying to hit her. I guess hit her with the pistol.
So you said you slapped Selena?
Yes, sir.
Was the gun still in your hand at that point?
Slapped her with my left hand.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the gun was still in my hand.
Which hand was the gun in?
My hand.
In your right hand?
Yes, sir.
And you slapped Selena with which hand?
My left hand.
It's not just Selena.
So
It's Selena.
you hit Selena with the gun as well?
Yes, sir.
At what point? This was before or after you shot Mr.
Before.
Yeah, twice, Paige.
Yeah, he doesn't have a father in his life, but I'm sure there were men in his mother's life, and he saw this kind of abuse. Yeah. Oh yeah, there was like blood and hair on the pistol.
Yeah, he did it twice. He got her once in the like kind of the temple area, and then once kind of on like the back of the neck, kind of like almost like in the hairline area.
Really sad.
Okay, so you're hitting Selena with the gun in the head. How many times did you hit her in the head?
I don't recall. It wasn't like I was hitting her. She was also like putting on my shirt, and you know, it was like a little tussle. It wasn't like just me hitting her. It was like, you know, she hit me back and like scratched, pulled my shirt, and that's whenever Miss Pokuaa, she said she would yell stop and try.
You know how the prosecutor isn't even like trying to make him look bad.
No, he's just doing it.
He's just like, well, so what were you doing then? Oh, I smacked her with my pimp hand. I had a gun in it.
Yeah, it's just he doesn't have to ask him too many questions because he's burying himself. Like, I mean, look at everybody in chat. they're all
Yeah.
just like, what is going on?
He wanted to be on the birth certificate, I guess, and she was hesitant about it. Hey.
Yeah. I mean, for good reason, obviously.
Yeah, apparently she could have maybe picked better, but you know.
Yeah.
My cat has transformed.
She's standing right there.
In the middle of y'all?
What you mean?
In the middle of you and Selena? She's in the middle of you all?
No, she's next to us.
Next to you?
Yes.
And so while you're striking Selena, Ms. Pokuaa is standing where? Next to you, next to Selena, where exactly is she?
Next to us. She's standing like next to us.
No, the kid is his, ironically. I don't know. I mean, maybe she did, but there's no evidence of that.
Because they said that they did a DNA test after the fact.
Yeah.
And I assume they obviously took it from him. I mean, they could have just picked him up off the floor, but I mean, there was enough.
Yeah.
There was enough to go around.
And she yelled stop and got in between us.
Okay, so she got in between you at that point.
Yes, sir.
And so again, how did she get shot in the back of the head at that point?
Because I'm still trying to hit Selena. And
so Nikki actually pointed out that so she did say that the baby's not his, allegedly.
True.
Yeah.
So I mean, she was just trying to be.
She could have been like either egging him on or trying to make him leave or whatever, saying like it's not even yours anyway. Get out of here.
No, I know women like this. She was trying to rile him up and piss him off. My ex,
you know women like this, Sal? Do tell.
The last girl I dated. No, she was awful. She would say shit just to.
Sal.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
End of 2019.
Oh God.
What?
Oh, Sal. Okay.
I've moved on from her.
Move on. It's time to move on.
Trust me.
We've heard about this a lot.
This is why you picked up on Jody and all these other ones that you can fix, right?
I couldn't fix her, but I'll fix Jody.
Yeah.
Moving on. Literally and figuratively.
I mean, she was in juvenile hall, so in her defense, she stabulated somebody.
Oh dear.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
You saw that Ms. Pokuaa had a gunshot wound directly to the back of her head, right above her neck.
Oh no, Mark Jensen. He hasn't responded yet, though.
No.
Sorry, let's finish this.
Yes, let's.
It's your testimony that while you were trying to strike Selena with the gun, that she gets a perfect bullet hole in the center of the back of her head. That's your testimony?
Yes, sir.
All right, and so as it relates to the shooting of Katie Flowers, I didn't quite understand your testimony. You said that you panicked, right? And you shot Mr. Pokuaa in the back of the head.
Yes, sir.
And that you shot out the door for what reason?
I mean, I just panicked, you know what I mean? I didn't know what to do. I had just, you know what I'm saying? I had just shot somebody, I guess. I was just still, my mind, all my thoughts, everything, it was going 100 miles per hour. All my thoughts was crazy. And I just didn't want nobody to see like what just happened. You know, like, but that's what was going through my mind. I was like, shit. Like,
okay, so you're saying you didn't want somebody to see what happened, so you want to shoot that person to make sure that they didn't see what you did? Is that what you're telling me?
No, not at all.
So what do you mean you didn't want?
I didn't know no one was out there.
It's a hospital.
You fired twice, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so your answer to just shooting and killing somebody is to shoot again, correct? Twice.
You say what?
Your answer to shooting and
killing
is to shoot out the door twice. That's your answer to that?
It was more of a distraction, like.
Who were you trying to distract?
Anybody, like from not coming over here. You know what I mean? Like for not coming in the room. It was somebody dead in the room.
Not a distraction. It's the opposite.
I come in and I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm panicking. I'm scared. You know.
So when you shot out the door,
you were panicking and scared.
The door was not open.
No, it was, I opened it.
Okay, so you opened the door and fired outside the door, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you looking outside the door when you fired?
No, sir.
Where were you looking at when you fired outside the door?
I opened the door with my right hand. That's a handle that goes up. I pulled it like this, and I shot twice out the door.
Where were you looking when you fired outside the door?
I guess I was looking like towards like the wall and the door.
Which wall?
It's a wall. The door's right here, and it's a wall right here. It's like an entrance right here, but here's the door. It's a wall right here.
So he's blind firing.
Yep.
Let's talk about your conversation with Sergeant Rangel. You had mentioned that he was trying to talk to you, but you couldn't hear him. You remember that exchange that you had with him?
Hey, Ashton.
Well, you told him that you had a hostage in there, didn't you say that?
No, sir.
Yep, he's super dangerous. Half Irish. Hey, welcome back.
Oops. You might want,
is this what we don't want to see?
I
We
think
don't want to see this?
we might be getting into the timestamps. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
It gets tricky here
And-
because he has like 3 of them like back to back.
Yeah, I'll just take
All
it
right.
off stage.
So, how long does it go for, Bill?
I don't remember. I know it's Sal. I know it's.
There's only a few minutes left.
Yeah, there's only a few
Okay.
minutes left of the day, but like he gets all 3 of these things in back to back to back. Like I mean, it's quick.
Yeah.
It's like 2
Okay.
minutes, and then you get like 30 seconds, and then 2 minminutes, and then
Yeah.
you get a minute. Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Righto. Okay. So it's like, here you go. This is what you did, my friend, and this is also what you did, and this is also what you did. So,
Yeah.
what do you think about that? Can we hear audio at all? Do you think? Is there a way? I don't know how to do that when it's off stage.
Do what?
Hear audio.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you can't hear audio?
No, we can't hear the audio.
No.
And Jung, if you
No.
want to see the video, both of them are posted on my channel. I need to age restrict this one after
Wait,
this.
I messed up. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. Hey, Lexi.
Okay, now you can hear it. Hey.
Yes, now we can hear it.
Yeah.
I'll post it in Morbid.
Maybe we can turn it down a little bit.
Oh, is that too loud?
It just,
Yeah.
her screaming is, it's
So
pretty loud.
what's the name?
Like I said, I think I was going in sitting in the closet or something. I was trying to get in the closet. I don't know if I said in the closet, out of the closet. I remember I was looking for my phone.
I'm sorry.
I remember I was looking for my phone, so I called somebody.
You're looking for your phone, but you're screaming at her, give me the baby.
You said the banging?
You just said that you were looking for the phone, but we hear you very clearly screaming to her, give me the baby, and you testified to that. You were saying, give me the baby. We hear you saying that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There you go. Boom.
Come out over here, please come out. Come outside.
Yeah.
Okay, can we turn it down, please? Please. Why, Dennis? Because of the audio?
I don't think so. Not because of the audio. Like,
Oh, shut up, Dennis.
The oh.
Hey, I'm Robert. What's your name?
I'll back it up. You just said I got a hostage.
Shelly, I posted this link in the morbid area of Discord, Viol's video of it. So you can find it there if you want.
Hang on, I'm just gonna scratch my face for Dennis. That's all.
That's what my audition was for.
Mm-hmm.
We're back to.
We are, but
there's one more.
No.
Yep. We lost the audio.
Now we lost the audio.
Yeah.
I got it. There we go.
I'll let you do it.
Come out over here, please. Come out. Come outside. Partner.
It's wild.
Got a hostage, man. Right? Is that what you said?
I think that's the last one, Sal.
What was the
That's the
hostage?
last one. You can put it back.
I think that's the last one.
Try.
Nice. Good job, team.
I'm up. What's your name, partner? What's your name? Talk to me.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Nope.
No.
Okay, listen, we can work this out, partner, okay? All I want to do is just get the people
Oh, is this the
outside,
third
please.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can work this out. Just let them outside, okay?
We'll explain in a minute, Stray.
Just throw the gun outside. Throw the gun out, please.
Saul is hollering, "Now give me the baby." You're saying that you want to protect the baby, right?
Yes, sir.
Throw the gun outside.
Oh.
Partner, we can work this out, man. Trust me. I bet.
No, ain't no working shit out. Y'all know what the fuck is going on. That's you, right? I'm sorry?
Yes.
Yeah.
These two women were innocent. These two women that you killed that day, they were
Okay, I
innocent.
think we're back.
Okay.
I think that's it.
They
Yeah.
were-
Are you sure now, Hill?
I think so.
Yes, sir.
I got my finger on it.
You got your finger on it, do yourself?
Yeah.
Good job.
Not intentionally.
You killed both
Not
of them.
intentional.
I did, but not intentionally, sir.
You intentionally unlive them. I did, but not intentionally.
Not intentional. Intentional. Not intentional. Intentional.
Sorry.
No worries.
That just required a little bit of boon. That's all.
Oh.
Do go on.
We'll explain in a minute, Stray. Yeah. That's it.
David, it's not. Trust me, it's not.
Your Honor, at this time I'd ask to take the matter outside the presence of the jury.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a 15-minute break. And depending on what happened, we may or may not be returning to the court.
This will take less than 5 minutes.
This will take less than 5
Yeah,
minutes?
absolutely.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Is that it?
Almost.
Oh.
It's weird. Some of the stuff that they do it on the like on the recording, and some of the ones they don't. The ones they don't, I just cut them out.
Oh, Your name is Nestor Hernandez. Nestor, you have just gotten off the witness stand following both direct and cross-examination by the state. And you understand that at this point in time, we have an opportunity, if we wish to call any other fact witnesses regarding the offense, we are allowed to do so at this time. You and I have discussed that, as we have on several occasions, and you have instructed me that at this time you wish for us to rest the case, which I assume, unless the state calls any rebuttal, I assume that they would close their case, we would close our case, and then the next step in this trial would be closing arguments, and the jury would make the decision in this case based upon the totality of the evidence that they have before them at this time. You understand that?
Yeah.
And that's what you're instructing us to do now. Is that correct? All right. Here, that's all I have. We'll be racing in front of the jury, and I don't know if the state has rebuttal or not.
Yeah. So a couple things. So Nikki asked a question about why can't you show the video? So the videos are extremely graphic. The ones in day one were a lot worse. If you do want to see the video, I have them as age restricted on my channel, but this is not age restricted, so that's why you can't show it on here. And like when I say they're very graphic, if you are queasy, don't watch. Not joking. If you're queasy at all, don't watch it.
I wasn't paying attention to the little thumbnail just now. Bill, what exactly was shown today? Do you remember?
So some of the same footage that was shown in day one was shown in this. It just wasn't as much. But some of the same clips that they just covered were the same ones from day one. It's just not like the clips were longer in day one because they showed the whole thing, entering the whole thing into evidence.
Are we talking just little flashes?
Yeah.
There's splashes on the floor. You can see bodies actually in this one. Like it's it's
Ashton, go ahead and post what you're thinking about that. I think it's good what he's doing. I'm just curious your thoughts.
Yeah.
Because he's like trying to get on the record that his client and him are on the same page.
Yeah.
I guess avoiding ineffective assistance maybe is one thing, but
exactly.
I'm curious his thoughts.
He's just covering his own behind.
Yeah.
Sure. And
actually, I thought he's done a very good job representing him.
Just before we start again, and yes, thank you, Ashton. We anyone who wants to get on the MLS, become an MLS member and get onto that Discord, we have a section in there where we have discussion about some things that are like it. Basically, we have a folder in there that's more morbid kind of stuff that's 18 plus. So we have a link to Bill Hammer's video, but also we can have a little bit of a chat about, I mean, there's different opinions here as to whether this is a blood bath or just blood on the floor, or like sort of what's more gory and what isn't, and what should be sort of age restricted and what's not. So we can talk about this more, but let's do that. We could do that in that channel there. Okay, sure. Let's keep going.
2 minutes. Oh. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, it was smart. I haven't seen it really done before though, but yeah, it's very smart. He did, Ashton.
Yes.
He had the talk on the record with his client, and then the judge confirmed. But yeah, I'm impressed. I mean, it's an open and shut case, pretty much, but the lawyer or his lawyer is still zealously representing him and doing the best for him. So,
as he should.
Yeah,
and I'm sure there's lots of people in the LMC and etc. Chitty chats who are all like, how could this man defend such a piece of whatever? But that's his job, and that's how the system works, and so he should.
Yeah. No. Done a good job.
Yep.
Rebecca, present and seated. All right, now Mr. Hernandez testified before the court, right?
Yes, sir.
What says the defense?
Your ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the defendant would rest his case.
Stay close to the page, or
the defense is closed.
All right, thank you.
There we go. Case is closed.
Testimony in this case. For the judge.
Wow.
That you don't have the court's charge, which will give you the law.
Yeah. Yeah, even he gets a fair trial and should be representative.
Oh yeah, absolutely, half Irish. You do not want a basis for appeal.
Correct.
Yeah. And that's what was driving me nuts with the prosecutor really trying to push for parole violations coming in. There was no reason for it.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Leave that alone.
It's an open and shut case. Why are you trying to?
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Exactly. Exactly. Sometimes these, like the prosecutors, they put so much stuff in. They try to just like stuff it in.
It's like it's just one of those things. It's like that phrase "beating a dead horse." It's like,
yeah,
the guy's guilty. It's like,
Texas flag, fun fact. It is the only state flag that can be flown at the same level as the U.S. flag. Why is that?
because it's Texas.
I mean, they're the only state that can succeed or leave the union.
Mm-hmm. Under
Really?
their own, under their own, I can't remember what it is, but yeah. And then Stray, okay, yeah, I forgot that we needed to come back to you about the audio. So the audio was not somebody dying. So the audio was the baby mama was in the room while he had been shot, and she was the one who was screaming. Okay, that is what that was. That was not somebody dying. That was her screaming. So,
Okay, cool. All in red. That was unnecessary, and any jury is going to realize that those things were paroled violations. Yeah, you're right. All in red's always right. Also, all in red, with the facts, Texas was a country. And also, Ashton, Texas was a nation that joined the US.
Yeah, I did not know
There
that.
you go. There you go. Indigo with the USA hearts. It wasn't a territory first. Yeah, a nation. So, all you guys who know your history, around what time are we talking about? So, approximately
1800s.
What?
Texas 93.
When?
Texas what?
Texas 93. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. It's Texas' own timeline. Texas 93.
Someone's going to Google it in a second and come back with the answer.
I am right now.
Probably.
1845.
Yep, subscribe to for random factoids. Well, no, from my chat giving out random factoids about the US. It's interesting though, because I learned so much stuff about you guys just from streaming for you guys. Because yeah, obviously I am learning about the US this year. It's my thing. I did Halloween for the first time this year. I'm about to learn all about Thanksgiving. You know, the other day, Dali said to me, I suppose you don't have any plans for Thanksgiving? And I was like, what now? You say what now? When is this holiday of which you speak?
It's next Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So me.
Okay, that was not me saying 1845.
Well, yeah,
that was Sal. Yep. Okay, so it was in 1845.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Thanksgiving. All I know is that you eat a turkey. Also, Texas has the right to split into 4 independent states. Okay.
All right.
Who knows the names of them?
No clue.
Okay. Tex, ass,
TXS.
Dal, and ass.
TXS.
Yeah. Was this where I live was once part of Texas, but I only claim to be Texan where I'm up to when I'm up to no good. Fair enough. What are they? Squirrels. Sam Houston was first president of Texas. There you go. All the facts coming at you. I can tell you Australian facts one day, but we'll probably wrap this up in a sec.
Yeah, I gotta get going.
See Yeah, that's fair enough. See any US state leaving without a full-fledged war starting. Yeah, well, you guys sort of, I'm not going to say you like your civil wars. I don't think you do, but you do like your guns. Your pew-pews. Your pew-pews. You were born on Thanksgiving and my birthday falls on Thanksgiving this year. Oh, okay, now that's interesting. So you're saying that Thanksgiving changes dates each year?
Yeah.
Yes, it's
well,
not always Thursday.
It's always the third Thursday of the month, but of course that changes. The date actually changes.
No way. That's news.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought it
always
was like Christmas. It's always on the 25th or something.
no. It's always the third Thursday.
When my parents were married, they celebrated their wedding anniversary is like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and like
it would
Memorial
changed every year.
Memorial Day is the last Monday in May.
So it's like Easter, kind of. Not really.
Yeah, it changes.
Kind of, a little different.
Yeah.
It changes. Wow,
Yeah.
this is so okay.
There's like a
This is-
formula
yeah,
for it. It's not a date. Like 4th of July is the 4th of July, right?
Yeah.
Christmas
Well,
is a
I
set
mean, I
date.
would hope it's always the 4th of July.
I would
Otherwise,
hope
that's
so, too.
really worrying. Yeah. There's a formula for Easter.
Yeah, but then there's the ones that are just based on a formula. It's like it's X whatever day of the month or whatever. But, yeah.
My nephew is also sometimes a Thanksgiving baby. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, this is
about
like
stuff in the
astounding
turkey.
Aussie. Great stuff in the turkey. Yeah. So Sal has already decided that there's going to be a turkey-based Thanksgiving special. I might do some sort of tell the Aussie Thanksgiving facts, or maybe it might even be at Aussie's first Thanksgiving special on Thanksgiving.
Nik said I think he's going to do some stuff with me and you. Because you know I'm not doing anything for Thanksgiving. They're not doing anything, obviously. So we'll keep you guys entertained.
Absolutely. Sal,
the French have a civil war every time somebody stubs their toe.
So they have a civil war every time someone stubs their toe. Sal, do you have a link to your show tomorrow? Your new show?
No.
Well, aren't you well organized?
I'm not. I'll get it.
Yeah, you get it. So
I am doing body language analysis of. I have not picked the video yet, but I have working maybe on a temporary stream, or maybe I'll see how it goes.
What's this, Ashton? Please dress up like a pilgrim for Thanksgiving. I don't even know what pilgrims look like. Why is Ashton asking me to dress up like a pilgrim?
I'll send you some pictures.
Yeah.
What's this about?
No,
it's nothing smexy. It's really not.
No.
Isn't
imagine a nun, but more clothes.
It's like when Indians and white people got together and shared food.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I am.
Go to where?
So could you please put that in private chat for me, and I'll make it look prettier.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So so Sal has an exciting event tomorrow.
Yes.
He is starting his very first time doing a body language analysis. It's video, and it's going to be. Sal's always wanted to be one of those YouTube body language analysis experts, and he's finally just decided he doesn't really need a degree or anything like that to do it, because who does?
Absolutely.
Let's just think about that. Who does? And they all get their degrees off the side of cereal boxes anyway. Body language. Tell us a little bit about that, please, Sally.
No, I'm just going to be watching probably some kind of court video first, analyzing the defendant and people in the room, what they think. You see, the way EU looks right now, squinted, it tells us that she needs to go to the bathroom soon. She's also very intrigued at this white man on screen. I don't. It's a work in progress. I'm going to do it solo.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. Anyway, what time is it tomorrow?
5 p.m. Eastern.
5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is up on the screen. Everyone, if you have not subscribed to Dali Talk, be subscribed to Dali Talk. Not only is he hilarious and my awesome co-host, but he's very close, as you can see from the chat that is pinned to the top of my chat, that he is so close to his 500 subs. It's not even funny. So close to that goal, and he works so hard. Please subscribe to Dali Talk, and please make sure that you are there for his body language analysis tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. Also, subscribe to Veilhammer right there, the lovely man who has been doing so much work getting these videos to a point where we can actually hear them, because we could not have heard them. We could not have heard them. Thank you, Ashton, for subbing to Dali. Thank you.
We started something new today, actually.
What's that?
So I can fix the audio in real time.
Oh, you did. You did some more magic today, didn't you? Tell us about that.
Yeah.
I have to get going, actually, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So,
but I'll talk to you guys later. It's been fun.
Okay.
No problem. We'll be finishing in just a second. But you go, Dali.
I know.
You go.
Bye.
You tell us about that, Oviel.
Yeah, so basically Baker, I think, used it this morning, and then MLS used it this afternoon. So all the quote unquote magic that I do, I can do it in real time. I don't need to have necessarily to wait for it to be finished. I can do it while it's actually happening.
Wow.
So
that's incredible. So
yeah.
you did that for one of a trial that he was running at that time?
Yep. So
which one was that?
It was the Iowa versus Ivan something. I don't remember
another one.
Yeah, the ditch thing.
Dead in a ditch or something. Yeah.
Yeah, the dead in the ditch thing. So so apparently it worked, but I guess somebody said something like that Baker was having some issues, which is weird because on my side it looked perfect. So I don't know. We need to kind of look at that. And then there's I think a point in time, I think in MLS said that there was some weird thing that happened with the feed or something. I don't know. Something kind of wonky happened, and I'm not sure what it is. But anyway, so yeah, we're experimenting with doing that to actually be able to do it in real time. So
everyone should go and have a look. Everyone should go and have a look at your page and the intro that you just made, which shows the before and after of the court feeds and what you do with the audio, because it's just stunning. Also, thank you very much to Nicholas for inviting myself and Dali and Veal and everybody to be involved in this trial coverage. We really appreciate it. Thank you to all the Vikings for coming along. And also, just one last thing, make sure that you like and subscribe to Making Law Simple Network. You can see that myself and Dali and Veal also, we're all part of the Making Law Simple network there. And David is just wonderful. He helps small creators to become big creators and provide a place for us to provide membership perks and things like that, even though we're not monetized yet, and provides an awesome place for us to all hang out behind the scenes and chat and watch party and things like that. So live alerts, make sure that you are on the Discord, become a member of his channel and become part of the Discord and get live alerts to everybody. That's it, everyone. We are about to wrap up. Thank you all for being here. Love your company. And time to say goodbye.
Bye.